Montrell. What is up, my friend? How are you doing on this fine Thursday?
So it's gonna be a downer, but it is what it is. Um, so remember on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
long story short, my face got partially paralyzed.
Wait, what?
Uh, yeah, on Saturday my face was partially paralyzed.
Wait,
Uh, dead ass. I'm not even joking right
when
now.
we were streaming?
Yeah. I have Bell's palsy, so uh,
What the what?
it started right after I got done working out. And even during the stream, I couldn't blink on my left eye. My left eye wasn't blinking in synchronization with my right eye.
Yeah.
Um, and like I don't. It's not like crazy or anything. Like how you see on pictures if you search it up, like how
Yeah.
people's mouth kind of look like Two-Face or anything like that. Like mine doesn't look like that at all. I still have full functionality of my mouth.
Yeah.
It's just like when I suck in, like I can only like sometimes I can only suck in on one side of my mouth. Or when I
Yeah.
blow, yeah, and then like when I'm spitting or like swishing my mouth out, sometimes it may come out because I can't like maintain muscle of that lip.
Yeah.
But my eye, I just got like I've been doing like face therapy and everything because I had
Yeah.
to go to the emergency and they told me what it was. Um, so I got it probably because of pneumonia I got 2 months ago, and my immune system was still weak from that,
Yeah.
and it attacks your nerves in your face, and or like a virus or any kind of viral or bacterial infection can kind of attack your nerves in your face and inflame them.
Mm-hmm.
And with muscle tension and obviously stress, um, it all combined because I lifted heavy that day too. I lifted like super fucking heavy that day.
Yeah.
It all combined to like make Bell's palsy. So they said that I'm already scheduled a appointment with my doctor uh a week from now to go get checked out and stuff, and then I'm going to try to go to a neurologist. But they said it's not permanent. My doctor, the emergency doctor's like, yeah, you didn't. I thought I had a stroke. To be honest with you, I legitimately thought I
Yeah.
had a stroke, and they did all those tests on me. They're like, no, it's Bell's palsy, and there's like you don't have to worry anything worried about. You have a very very mild case of it, and you should have functionality of everything in like 6 months or whatever. Uh, sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes 6 months, or whatever. Some people actually lose the ability to move their right side of their jaw, or their entire right side of their face. So I still can feel stuff on my face. I still like sometimes my eyebrows when I look surprised, one
Yeah.
eyebrow is lower than the other or whatever, but
Okay.
it's like not even noticeable. Like the average person won't notice it. Only I would notice it. Even with my blinking, like
Mm-hmm.
if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what happened to me.
Dude.
So it happened on Saturday when I noticed it. Even in the stream, you can see it. I went back and watched the stream, and you can see it. And then on Sunday, it got worse. And then on Monday, I went to the emergency or whatever, and then they gave me medicine. And like I'm doing like facial therapy every day. I'm like massaging my face, and um then I'm like just like doing exercises to help me
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
regain that functionality back or whatever.
Yeah.
But luckily, like my mouth and everything is still fully functional, so I can still talk correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I say p words, they come out a little bit crazy, but or b
Yeah.
words, but that's pretty much it. So I say all that to say I might actually retire from League of Legends. I don't need to play anything stressful, so I just been playing like
Wow.
now non-stressful stuff.
Dude,
So
I'm
I might,
sorry, bro.
yeah. So
Damn.
I might not be
I
able to come
mean,
back into that for like another 3 or 4 months until everything's cool.
holy
But yeah,
shit. Damn, dude. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't watching your camera feed on Saturday, so I didn't notice anything. But yeah,
I didn't notice
you've
it until after the stream. Like
yeah.
honestly, I didn't even notice it.
Well, yeah, you've been conspicuously absent this week when we were playing League.
Yeah,
We were kind of wondering where you were, and well, I guess there's the answer. Damn, bro. Man, I'm sorry, man. I hope the recovery goes well. It, I mean, like you said, it's not permanent, right? So that's a good thing at least. Um, but damn, dude, just from the pneumonia and like kind of a heavy day. It's fucking
Yeah, I mean, it's been accumulating. Like the pneumonia, obviously, I have to take antibiotics and like steroids, so
yeah,
that weakens your immune system because you're
yeah.
like relying on the antibiotics and the
Hmm.
steroids. And then on top of that, the stress obviously does a lot to your body. And then muscle tension. I mean, I've been working out and I lifted like super heavy after I changed
Yeah.
my program up, and I'm going back to lifting like heavy now, like doing strength instead of just like hypertrophy,
Hmm. Hmm.
or instead of just like bodybuilding,
Yeah.
because bodybuilding is different from like actual strength building. So
Yeah.
now I'm trying to get my strength up, like back up again. Um, so yeah, when I started lifting heavy, I knew exactly what it was because I did 225 deadlift, and I can only do it 3 times. But after I did it, I was like super fucking tired, and
Yeah.
I think that's what like actually like pushed it over the edge and was like, all right, we got to go into reboot mode. And I think that's just what my
Mm.
body's doing. So I mean, I told my job as well. Like I was just like, hey, I have to like I mean, I've been going to job sites and stuff like that, but I'm like taking it super easy and stuff like that. It's just been a lot. So, uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
This has been a really bad year for health shit for all of us, huh? Like,
yes,
goddamn,
yep.
dude, man.
I will be honest with you. I've been in crazy situations before. I've been shot at and everything like that.
Hmm.
Um, this was the first time I was like legitimately fucking scared. Like I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I mean, if your body's acting in a way you can't understand,
yeah,
that's yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. No, when I dislocated my shoulder, I mean, I had the same thoughts as well as like, dude, like, am I fucked? Like, am I permanently fucked up?
yeah,
Like, did I like, is this like, am I not going to be able to use my left arm as much? And you know, I think I got lucky. The answer is really no. I don't have huge long term ramifications, but they're there. Like, if I don't, I got discharged from therapy 2 weeks ago,
hmm,
and if I don't keep up with the exercises though for at least another 6 months, like I could have regression in usage of my arm, and to be honest, like I was kind of lax last week actually after I got discharged. Like I went like several days in a row without doing anything, and then
hmm,
I kind of got back on the wagon this weekend with it, and dude, I can feel it, like it was certainly like it was like I could still do everything, but dude, the stiffness and the pain was like very much there in a
there.
way that hadn't been in a while, like a really long while, probably 2 months. And I was like, wow, okay, I have to stay disciplined with this.
Yeah,
Um,
and I feel like I got lucky as well. Like I said, I don't have a severe case. You can't even notice it unless I literally point it out to you when I'm in person with you or whatever.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but uh, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like all that stuff combined, and I think like me drinking because I don't drink obviously like
yeah.
that. I think me drinking that one day kind of contributed to it.
Thursday we had a
Yeah,
yeah we had a few, yeah, it was a busy week last week actually. We
yeah. So
did a lot of
um,
stuff.
I'm just gonna stay on my therapy, go to a doctor, go
Yeah,
to a neurologist. Hopefully, it's nothing big, and if it is something big, I mean, hopefully we can take care of it, or
yeah,
whatever the case may be. I don't think I have like a tumor or anything like that.
yeah.
It may be something benign pushing against it, but I don't really think that far into the future. I don't think it's nothing like that.
Well,
So
did they do any kind of X-ray or MRI or anything?
no, they just did like basic stuff, or whatever. They didn't.
Okay.
They said it didn't really look like it was anything, and they also saw on my history that I had pneumonia. He immediately zeroed in on that once he saw that, or I'm sorry, when she saw that,
Mhm.
and I was like, yeah, like that happened or whatever, and she's like, yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. Like you just got off this therapy for uh pneumonia, and you've been stressed, you told me, and obviously you drove yourself in, so you don't really have any kind of issues like functioning, motor function wise, and you know what day it is. And she did all
Yeah.
these other tests and everything. So she was like, yeah, just go with your primary doctor. They're probably going to schedule you with a neurologist, but I don't think it's anything serious or anything like that
Mhm. Wow.
or whatever. And I have seen me and my wife were looking it up before I went to the emergency, and she's like, "Yeah, you may have this Bell's palsy thing," and I didn't want it to be that, but it is that. And uh, I mean, I usually don't tell my parents stuff like that, but I tell my mom, and then she called my uncle, and then my fucking grandma called me. I'm like, "Oh my god, y'all, I'm okay."
I mean, hey, bro, you're loved. Okay, you're very loved. So I think you know, it's just people are gonna worry about you, man. You know,
Yeah.
but
So, but
well,
yeah, didn't mean to break that, but
hey, it's hey,
it's
we get pretty personal on the show here a lot of the time.
yeah.
So you know,
I
well,
just figured
okay,
I'll let you know what was going on. I'm like, I'll let him know
I
on Thursday what's
appreciate it.
going on.
I appreciate it. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's between us, even though this is broadcast publicly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let anybody else know. You can, you know, it's your business. So, but to lighten the mood a little, this is a little silly, but I did buy you a present. You know, randomly. I wasn't gonna tell you. I was just gonna ship it to you, but I kind of want to just let you know. So Magic the Gathering did a Sonic collab, which I think you know about
Yeah.
recently, and I bought you the character pack basically.
Oh shit.
With Sonic,
Thank you.
Shadow, Amy, I think Eggman's in there, Tails and stuff. So I'm gonna ship that to you. But you know, I know you're not gonna buy it for yourself. I'm not asking you to get into Magic. That's not what this is. I think it's just I think it's a cool thing that you would like. So I just, you know,
No, definitely. I like the card art, so
yeah.
I definitely
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, you can do what you want with it too. If you don't want to open it, it's fine. But you know, whatever
I'm
you want
probably
to do
just
with
gonna
it.
add it to my collection for Sonic stuff. Like
Okay.
seriously. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm gonna ship that out this week. So
Okay.
hopefully you'll get it sometime next week. But because I don't think I'm gonna see you before then. So
No, I still
but
come to board game nights and stuff. It's not like
no,
I'm
no, no. I
terminal or
know. I'm
anything.
saying, you know, no, it's not like you're not dead, like, you know, but like I don't think I'm gonna see you before like next weekend. So I figure
Oh yeah.
I'd ship it. It'll get there faster, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, so that man, that league on Saturday, that might be the last league I play with you,
I
at least for
so
a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple weeks. I'm gonna wait till my doctor says what
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah,
But
don't
I'm
do it.
not
Don't do
I'm
it.
not
This
gonna
isn't worth it.
I'm not
You know.
well what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna play major roles. So I can play support without being stressed out. To
Okay.
be honest with you, even when I'm
Yeah.
playing like ranked, so
Yeah.
I can still support you. I'm not playing mid lane or jungle or anything like that. I'm not playing any major roles,
Yeah.
uh, no more. I'm just gonna play support,
Like
and
the
I'm just
hyper
gonna
carry. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not gonna do any of the hyper carry stuff. I'm just gonna play
Okay.
support, and I'll be fine with that. And if I can't play support that day, then I'm not playing that day. Like
Okay.
that's
Okay.
it is what it is, you know.
Okay.
So
I mean, we're not gonna push you. You know, if you don't you don't feel like you can handle the stress of it, it's fine, man. Like we're good. We'll play. You know, if you want to watch, like we'll we can
yeah, I think
stream it
I'll
to
watch. I
you.
can watch it like coach or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll stream it to you or something. You know, and yeah, that might actually be helpful too. Like get some tips and stuff. So, or you point some things out that we might not be paying attention to. So, well, well, damn. All right. Well, that's some news for everyone. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. This is the Players Take episode 355. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined as always by my co-host, Montrell Rice. Um, and we post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all your favorite podcast apps of choice. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so to the players take 01 at gmail.com. You can send us an email. And I do have an icebreaker real quick since we already mentioned it. You know, that dude actually sent us an email with like 10 questions. I picked out a few during the episode because they're relevant to what we're going to be talking about. But he did ask one administrative one, sort of, is do you guys plan on doing any more YouTube videos? I thought the Stellar Blade review you did, Justin, was pretty solid, which that dude, thank you. I appreciate that. That video took a lot of effort. I spent probably 2.5 weeks on it total to get it good to go, which it was like a 22-minute video, I think. So that tells you how intense that is to make. And I was working on it not every single night within that 2.5 weeks, but pretty close to. So I put a lot of hours into making that video. Um, well, we just streamed this past weekend. So on Saturday, Montrell and I did. I actually streamed last weekend as well. Some Heroes Might and Magic 3. So we're kind of spinning that up a little bit. We don't have like a schedule or anything quite yet. So we will, if we think we're going to be streaming, we'll let you guys know on the show here, but more than likely going to mostly be on weekends. So just subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications if you want to be notified. And that'll be the best way to keep up with it. Otherwise it'll be a VOD. You guys can always come back and watch it later if you miss it. So yeah, we played League for 2 hours maybe. I think we played 3 ranked games. We went 2-1. Had a good time. I don't think I was playing particularly well personally, um, but it was fun nonetheless. I do enjoy the streaming aspect. I wish there was more audience there to interact with, but once we get that going, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So no particular games I think we'll focus on. I'm the one kind of doing this right now, so I don't know how much Montreal will be on the stream necessarily. But Montreal, if you want to stream, you're on your own. Feel free, absolutely. But I'll probably be playing random games, mostly focusing on like Heroes of Might and Magic and stuff on PC right now. Trying to get the console streaming figured out, like how to hook it up and everything like that. You know, I'm not sure I want to do all that right now because my console's on the other side of the room. I got to unplug it, all that shit. So it's probably going to be mostly PC centric games for now. But depending on how much interest it gets, we might switch things up. So check that out. Got that going on. Videos like the Celebrate review, probably not going to happen too often. To be honest with you, while I enjoyed making that video and the process of it, it is a lot of effort, and I am not naturally inclined towards making that kind of content. Like I don't have like natural skill at it. It was actually very like I really had to push myself to get that video done. Meaning that like this isn't something that's easy for me to do, and given that I with the full-time job, I don't really have the time to do this on the side in a manner that is going to be consistent. So probably not a lot of those happening. Here and there I might get the some sprinkle of an idea might hit me, and I'll decide to jump into it and do it again, but I wouldn't expect that on a regular cadence really. So okay, Montreal, let's start like always with what we've been playing. You want to go first this week?
Yeah, I can go
You got a
first.
few games on here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't played Ready or Not this week. Actually, my friend, uh, he didn't get upset with me, but he's like, "Yo, when I schedule like a gaming time, I got kids, man. So you gotta come through or tell me you're gonna cancel." Um, so
You can't
yeah,
flake on him, bro.
yeah, I can't flake on him. So
Okay.
but we did
Yeah.
play League of Legends Saturday. I had fun. I had fun supporting. It was really fun actually. I actually missed that role.
Yeah.
Not about how lax it is, but how much agency you can actually have over the map and
Hmm.
just playing with an
Yeah.
actual ADC that has a fucking brain cell. So it's like
Just I have just the one.
I
Most of them
mean,
have zero.
yeah, most of them have zero. I mean, you have a couple of them, So it feels good to play with an ADC that actually understands the tempo of the game uh and knows when to go in and not in to leave and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I did beat Wu Chang. And I think this game, the ending was so bad. I tweeted this. I like to have fun with my sicknesses and stuff like that. So I tweeted that I woke up and my face was like paralyzed or whatever. And I had like the little
Hmm.
swaggly face,
Hmm.
squiggly face thing or whatever
Hmm.
emoji. So it was a
Yeah.
joke. But I was serious or whatever, and people were like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And I'm like, I'll be fine or whatever. But then I tweeted like the next day or whatever. I was like, man, Wu Chang's ending was so bad that it paralyzed half my face. Uh,
You hate this game, bro.
um,
Oh my god, this game.
and funny enough, Justin, I legitimately hate this game. I beat this game on Saturday or
Why did
Sunday
you stick with it though? I can't.
because it got good and then it just got bad
And
again.
then it
It's
just got
such a
bad again. Oh
yeah,
no. Oh,
yeah.
jeez, they
So
tricked you.
yeah. Uh the mid game is very good of this
Yeah,
game. I will say
yeah,
that. The mid game is very fucking good. When you get your build, you know what you're going for and everything like that. Like it's good. Um the patch came out and I think I text you what the issue was, right? So
yeah.
just in case people don't know, I didn't get the good ending of the game because I talked to two fucking NPCs out of order. Patch came out where they patched that now.
No.
Dead ass. It came out on Monday.
No. Wow,
Um,
you're never playing this game again. Holy shit. Oh my
Also, the
god.
patch came out for uh, they fixed all the um invincibility frames for getting up,
Oh.
and they fixed the recovery animation for getting up, and they made the frames faster for taking healing, and you can now cancel out of the heal because you couldn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you can cancel out of it now. So they just dropped all that. They also adjusted some enemy stuff and everything like that. So the game is not the game that I was complaining about y'all last week. It's a completely different game
That's
now.
insane. They fixed it. They fixed
They
everything.
fixed it,
Probably
yeah.
not everything, but
Not everything, but
yeah.
they fixed
Yeah.
the
The
stuff that I
major
was
things you
complaining.
had issues with though.
Yeah. So
Wow,
I think,
that's crazy.
guys, if you want to play it, I think it would be worth playing now. For me though, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good on the game. I'm not going to do a new game plus. I thought about it. I just don't care anymore. Um,
No, this is no what you went through is exactly my problem with Final Fantasy 15 and why I can't go back to it. Is like and people don't understand that. Is like the game that I played is not the game that you played, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Like you don't get it. It's like I played the piece of shit video game that was awful, unfinished and broken. And you got to play the finished game with all these DLCs that like filled in the story and everything and shit. You know, it's like So yeah, I understand exactly how you feel right now.
Yeah, it's also like that with like me and Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, we went back and
Yeah,
played Kingdom
we
Hearts
did.
3.
That's true. Yeah.
But the Kingdom Hearts 3 that was released is totally different than the Kingdom Hearts 3 that post release or whatever. With the
Post
combat and everything.
remind, yeah.
Post remind with the combat being redone and all that other shit like that. Because we had a whole bunch of complaints about that type of shit.
Yeah.
Um Wu Chang, they just did it in a week or a couple weeks or whatever, but it was very baffling the how these changes did not come out on release on patch one. This should have been a
Yeah.
patch one type situation. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna play. I'll probably revisit it like next year or something like that. But I think the game has interesting concepts. I really love the clash mechanic in the game. Uh I do think like if these issues weren't there, this would have been a really good. It's still a good Souls like, but just for me, it's not there for me. So for me, it's like a 7 or a 6. But I can easily see why someone would tell me they love this game and they give it like a 7 or 8 or whatever. I can't see this game being a 9 or 10 for sure.
Mm,
100% can see that.
yeah.
Can't see that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Has good enemy placement or not good enemy placement, has good enemy design. Actually, I think the design of the characters are really cool. I think the level design is hit or miss. It's really good in some areas and then really bad in other areas. I think the enemy design, as far as enemy encounter wise, is all
Mm,
over the place. Um, I beat the last boss in like 2 or 3 tries compared to the boss before that. It took me literally 3 days to beat that boss. I had to take a
yeah.
break to come back and
Oh
beat that
my god.
boss. So
Yeah.
like it's just all over the place as far as like enemy design and boss encounters and stuff like that. And they need to be really more consistent with that. Uh, the reason why I can't give this game an excuse though is because we had, like I said before, 15 years of stuff to go off of. So this should not have been a thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but I understand this is like the studio's first time making a game like this, but I also feel like during the game's development, they played like Elden Ring. It was like, "Ooh, let's add this," and "Ooh, let's do this," and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, and I think you need to have a clear vision, which they kind of did. Um, the madness mechanic, I absolutely don't like that. I think it's a really punishing mechanic. Um, I know how to get past it. I know how to deal with it, but it's very, very, very taxing on early game players. Like it's not a good mechanic for early game players. I think it should be introduced halfway into the game, and then
Mhm.
that becomes a thing. I
Yeah.
don't think it should be, kind of like how Sekiro did with their with the dragon rot thing, where it was like a subtle thing in the background type
Yeah.
situation or whatever. You really didn't notice it until you started to go back to NPCs and try to talk to them and stuff like that, and the dragon rot was taking over their bodies or whatever. I am playing Cyberpunk 2077 again. I did so um on Saturday, not Saturday, but maybe Monday or Tuesday. I did try to get my save. I didn't know Cyberpunk has cross progression, so you can bring your PC save over
Mm.
to your PS5 save.
Mhm.
So I did that, and I played my PS5 save, and I was like, you know what? I don't like this character I built anymore. So
Yeah.
I just started over. So I started over again.
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
and I'm making an actual. I don't know if you guys actually watched the Cyberpunk anime, but I'm making a character akin to Lucy. I believe that's her name. She's a net runner,
Mm.
and I'm making a net runner hacker type character.
Okay.
Um, so it is the character is going to be a female V, and everything like that. So I am making that
And
type of
what are you
character.
playing on?
PS5. I'm playing on
Oh, you're playing on
PS5.
PS5 Pro.
Yeah, yeah. No, just regular PS5.
No,
It
just
still
regular
runs really.
PS5.
Yeah, it
Okay.
still runs really well. I don't have a pro. I might buy a pro in the future. But yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
and I've been playing the Battlefield 6 demo. I did play it. Despite all the stuff that happened to me this weekend, my crippled ass was still in there playing Battlefield 6 demo. The beta. Uh,
Yeah.
Game is really good. They need to work on some things, but it does give me. I have very, very high hopes for this game. Um,
So we might be back.
Yeah, we are back. The game's back, man.
Okay.
From what I felt. First of all, they made Conquest fun. Conquest was never fun. I was always a Rush Breakpoint player, a
Mm.
Battlefield player,
Mhm.
and they made Conquest fun. The maps make sense. Conquest usually, sometimes I felt like I was doing a running simulator or walking simulator. Like if you talk to Battlefield players, it's like Conquest is Battlefield, but I feel like Rush is actually. But uh Yeah, I do say for breakpoint though, or breakthrough rather, because you have a front line that you have to break through.
Mhm.
For the attacking players, it's fucking abysmal. The I played all weekend and I have never won from the attacker side. Always from the defender side. It's too
Yeah.
hard from the attacker side, so they need to fix that balancing. Obviously, it's the beta, and everything of that nature. There are some inconsistencies with the shooting as far as like damage rise, and they're already talking about patching that stuff up. They're already getting the cheaters out of here and everything like that. Apparently, you can't play Battlefield 6 and have Vanguard on your computer at the same time, or Valorant or something like that at the same time.
Wait, what?
Um, yeah, they're conflicting with each other. Their anti cheats are conflicting with each other. I heard some people
Wow.
say that. I heard reports of that. So if you are playing on PC, that is a thing to be careful of. Um,
What the hell? Okay.
but I'm playing on PS5, so that's not an issue for me. But yeah,
Are you gonna play it on
uh,
PS5 when it comes out?
yes, I am. I'm not
Okay,
playing on a
good.
PC.
Because I was worried. Yeah, I don't really want to play it on PC either. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but I view this as a console game. um,
yeah. Even though it started out as a PC game, I just honestly, um, after our Apex experience, bro, I think from here on out, if it's not a console exclusive like PUBG or something like that, or I'm sorry, PC exclusive like PUBG or something like that, I'm just playing. If you want to have a game that we play,
Yeah.
first person shooter that we play, and it's like on cross progression, cross play. I'm playing it on console just because I don't want to feel like I don't feel like dealing with the hackers or PC.
I
PC
agree.
is just too much, it's just too much.
No, it's full of
Or whatever.
degenerates.
Yeah.
Like PC gamers are like, I don't know. Y'all are fucking. I mean, I'm speaking.
As a
Montrell and I
PC
are.
gamer,
We are
yeah.
PC gamers, but like, dude, the level of degeneracy, desperation, and just like lack of any character, I'd say, is insane in the PC space. Like, I mean, we see it with League all the time. We're talking about Smurfs and shit, and cheaters and scripters and fucking, the hackers we ran into in Apex and PUBG, and it's just like it is so obnoxious how prevalent it is. Like how many of these people out there just want to win no matter the cost. They don't care about a competitive game. They don't care about having fun. They just want to win. Period. The end. That's
Yeah.
it. And they want
Yep.
to dominate people. Like it's not about they don't want the game to be close. They just want to wreck people and grief them and make them feel like shit and make them want to uninstall the game. Like it's such a weird it's weird how prevalent it is in PC games because I was feeling the same way. I'm very excited about Battlefield, like hearing all the stuff that's come out about it and hearing you talk about it now. But that was the thing I was worried about. I was like, man, if our friend group picks it up though, they're all gonna play on PC, dude. And I was like,
Well, it
I was
is
like, oh,
crossplay, so we're okay with that. And like the lobbies are crossplay, so it's not going to force you because we're playing with PC players. It's not going to force you to play with PC player. It just forces you to play with everybody when you pick
okay,
crossplay.
okay,
But I mean, I do have confidence in their anti cheat. I think they're really trying to. Also, I was worried. One thing I was really worried about was the movement, and the movement is very good in this game and very fluid, but it's
yeah,
not like twitchy Call of Duty. Like you can't just do stuff like that and win the game. So
yeah,
um I am happy about that. So I do think Call of Duty. I do think Battlefield is back. Uh I'm interested in what the game's gonna look like on launch. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really good game
okay,
uh so
cool.
far.
Well, going back to League real quick. So, that dude, one of his other questions was about League, and he said, "I've played League of Legends exactly one time and knew the game was not for me. The way y'all talk about this game though is actually hilarious. So my question is, why are y'all continuing to do this to yourselves?"
I would say for myself personally,
Yeah.
um I think the game is fun. It's like Apex, right? Apex has a really good ground gunplay. The gameplay itself is like really fucking good,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like the same way about League of Legends. I think the gameplay is really good. I think it stimulates my brain in a certain way that other games don't stimulate my brain. I have to think and use my skills at the same time, and I also have to make macro decisions on the fly.
Yeah.
And it feels really good when all those decisions come together and you win at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
it's just when you queue up again, you got to go through that whole bag of emotions again, and it's very, very strenuous on you. Which is why I can only play like 2 or 3 games from time a day,
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah.
But that's just me for me personally. Like I like the concentration, I like the outplaying, not only physically but on the mental level of your opponents and everything of that nature. It's a
Yeah.
very complex game in that aspect.
Yeah. I think we don't say this enough, right, when we talk about League, but League of Legends is a good game. A great game,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
fact. Like I think that gets lost in the sauce of us talking about it a lot of the time. And I think this is true for everybody, right? It's not just us. I think the way the League community talks about the game is so negative, but I heard Grubby talking about it recently because he's recently like gotten into League and he's playing and he got to plat in like 200 games or something like that
yeah,
in rank. So, and I mean he's a gamer's gamer, right? So he knows what he's talking about for the most part. And he said something though when he was talking about the things he likes about the game is that he said that he doesn't have a negative relationship with the game yet, and he feels like a lot of players who do just have that because of years of built-in negative experiences they've had, and they just remember those. They don't remember the good times, which is 100% true, right? Like we've had a lot of great games when we've played League, man. games where you come away from and you're like, holy shit, that was awesome. That was a great match, or whatever. And you don't really remember those. So you remember all the bullshit when you go into queue. You remember the teammates trying to swap with you every time you're the last pick or fourth pick. You know, you remember the teammates pinging you incessantly when they die and they did something stupid and they need somebody to blame. You remember that stuff. But the real thing is like the game is really fun to play, and a lot of stuff what Montrell said is true, right? The outplaying and the ability to like you play the game and you do things that cause your team to win. You bring victory to your team. Those are that's why it's satisfying. It's like overcoming all this stuff, and your own skill is the reason you win, sometimes, and that can feel really good. That is kind of the allure of the MOBA to me, and that's kind of the power fantasy of it, and only one team can win ultimately, and that's but it's like a sport though. It's kind of similar to like a sport, right? Like when you win, if you're in a high level competition, in like football or baseball or whatever sport, and you win like that, there's an exhilaration that comes with that, and it's kind of the same kind of thing. It's just a smaller scale with League. So yeah, I don't know. Yes, we talked very negatively about the game, but at the end of the day, like you know, it's a great game, and that's why we play it. So, um, okay, so outside of League for me, I've been playing Death Stranding. This is the only other game I've been playing really, and man, this game's got its hooks in me now. We're I don't know 3 weeks into me talking about this game. I got all the way to chapter 8 now. I am doing the deliveries in the depths of the mountains now. I think I'm very close to like what is the beginning of the end game for this game, like in terms of the story. I think I have a couple more deliveries to do, and then I get thrown into chapter 9. And I think chapter 9 through the end of the game is kind of not linear per se, but you're kind of locked into the story at that point. From what I've gathered, so I'm at the point where I'm trying to finish these last orders, and then I'm gonna go do all the side shit at this point, like build up the infrastructure, build the roads, go do all the orders, get everybody to 5 star, all that stuff. I think that's kind of what I'm planning on doing with the game at this point. So, but yeah, this game is at this point for me is man, it's just it's really special. This is a really special video game. And I'm glad I'm playing it finally. And I just think Kojima's like he's a really interesting developer. I think this game might be like I mean I played all the Metal Gear games, Metal Gear Solid games up through 5. I never beat 5. I didn't play a huge amount of 5. I only played for like a handful of hours, but I just didn't really like what he was doing with that game. But Death Stranding, I think, is a much better realization of what he was trying to do with MGS5. This feels like a real world, that you're running around in, and a real world that you're impacting and building and making better. The infrastructure that you build is useful for not just yourself, but it can help other players. Like literally, like other players' shit pops up in your game, right? This game is very much. It's really weird, right? Like because this came out in 2019, and then like COVID happened, pretty like 6 months after it came out, I think. And it's really funny that happened because this game resonates in a lot of ways because of that. Because these people are isolated and they're staying isolated on purpose. Like they don't want to be connected. They want to be separate. And they feel like they're safer that way and stuff like that. And it's very reminiscent of COVID in a lot of ways. But
Mhm.
I think the interconnectedness with other players is a really cool mechanic that it's realized in a very strong way. I think it would have been very easy for this to be clunky and feel like shit, where because I was thinking about this the other day. There are player structures in my world that have been there the whole time, basically. that I have built other structures around to utilize. Like people have zip lines in places that it's just a single zip line, but I built like a bunch of other zip lines that connect to that one zip line. And without that one zip line, like all my other zip lines wouldn't work, like they wouldn't be interconnected anymore. And that zip line isn't disappearing. It never disappears. Like it stays in your world, it stays static. And I really like that they did it that way, because it could have very easily felt really bad where these things like pop in and out, like different structures pop in and out and they're in different locations and shit like that. And it just very easily could have felt like terrible in the game. And the way they did it just executed really well. They just did a really good job of implementing this feature. And it's cool too. It just feels like, you are helping other players, and you can like reward them for the shit that they have, like you can give them likes, which directly helps them in their game, and stuff. And you can build structures that other people can use in their games too. And it's like, it's really cool to log into the game and I've got 5,000 likes from structures that I built or roads that I rebuilt that people used, and stuff like that. And it just, it's a very interesting system. And it is weird that I just feel like it's odd that like there just are not very many games that try to do things like this. If I can't even really think of any off the top of my head outside of Death Stranding. Um, this is the kind of like innovation I think Montrell and I talk about on the show that we're looking for in games. And yes, yell at me all you want. It took me 6 years to play this game. Yes, I understand. Like, but I feel like I'm better for it because I have the second game sitting right there when I'm done with this, right? Like I can just go straight into it. So,
Yeah.
um, so I'm okay with that, right? And it's like I have a greater appreciation for this game as well. I think it would have hit me differently in 2019 than it is now. I'm not sure I would have gotten into it in 2019 because,
We
like
were
you
all
guys
in
were,
different headspaces in
yeah,
2019.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I wanted different things out of games, and the early game in this game is not great. Like I think the
Yeah.
first two chapters are really slow. It's just a lot of the game is like spoon feeding you new features really slowly, and it doesn't feel very good. You don't have access to a lot of things until you get to chapter 3. And I think that would have potentially kicked me off the game. Like I wouldn't have grinded through it the way I did this time. And I'm glad I did because the game really blossoms in episode 3. Like you really start getting access to so much shit, and you really start to see how the game systems work together and how building roads can benefit you significantly. Like I rebuilt a huge amount of the northeastern part of the central zone, and I've pretty much 5-starred all of the areas over there easily because I have the roads. I was just driving back and forth doing their orders, like I was like I started at the South Distribution Center, and then I took all the orders for the guys that were connected to my roads, and then I went to the first one, and then I picked up his orders, and I went to the next one and dropped those off and picked up his orders, and back and forth, and they're all 5-star within an hour. It was like it felt awesome. It's like so the game feels really rewarding when you put the effort in to expand things as well. And yeah, I just think the game's really unique. This is a post-apocalypse, for sure, but it's a type of post-apocalypse that we've not really seen before. Like it's a different type. It's not zombies. It's not a nuclear apocalypse. It's not. I guess it's it could be adjacent to a nuclear apocalypse in some ways, in certain ways, the way some things work. But I think that Kojima and his team really created like a unique world here, and it feels really cool. And I love how dynamic the game is too, in the sense that they built in the mechanics for you to cause a void out, in the game. They don't just like it's not just something they talk about and it never happens. Like you can actually mechanically yourself cause a void out to happen in the game.
Mhm.
It's hard to do. It takes a lot of effort to make it happen. Like things would have to really go wrong for you to organically cause one. But you can make it happen if you get lethal weapons and you start running around just murdering all the mules. They will go necrotic and they will cause a void out. I actually went online to see what it looked like, and it's cool, man. It's permanent. It just creates this crater zone on your map that you can't go through anymore. And they're strategically put in places that don't impact the game too badly. I think, that's kind of the caveat to it, but it's cool that the mechanics even there,
Yeah.
it's like you would think that, oh, there's no shot. You're just going to get a game over screen if you cause a void out, right? And sometimes that is the way it works, but if you're in the right areas, it will actually cause a void out, and you will have that on your map for the rest of the game, for the rest of the playthrough.
Oh,
And I just
really?
think, yeah, no, it's a real thing. You can go on YouTube and look up videos, dude. Like
I
it's
never did the
sick.
void out. I thought
I
you had to
mean,
take it to like the furnace or whatever if you kill somebody.
yeah, you do. If you don't do it, a void out will happen where they were.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
yeah. Like, but it takes 48 in-game hours, so it takes a really, really, really long time for it to happen.
Ah, okay, okay.
That's my point, is that you kind of have to go out of your way to do it. There are ways to do it faster. I think if there are certain types of BTs that if you get swallowed by them, it will cause a void out when you die. But
Okay.
not all of them do it. It's only the stronger ones, I think. The catchers, maybe. Some of the like high end catchers. I think are the ones that cause it. So, but yeah, killing mules can cause it as well. And I love the fact that that's there. It feels really cool that they went out of their way to like program that into the game. They didn't have to do that. They could have been lazy and just like did a game over. It's like, and but they didn't. They went the extra mile and like really put that in there, and it just makes the game like really immersive because the actions that you take as the player feel like they have real ramifications, and the way you play the game and where you go, and where you build things, and yeah, if you decide to play lethal, there are consequences to that, and you have to go out of your way to make sure you aren't destroying shit, by playing lethal and stuff. So it's just really cool. I'm very into it in that regard. I like I was saying, I'm kind of focusing on story right now. I just want to unlock as many of the zones as I can through the story. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go fill in the gaps and then start building up the infrastructure and kind of trying to 5-star everything.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, story wise, I think the game is interesting. I'm not like there's just a lot of shit that hasn't been revealed yet. It is cool how the different episodes kind of focus on the different characters that you meet in the beginning of the game. I do like that about the game. It's a very like quirky cast, which is kind of Kojima's mo at this point. And they're all very cool. They have their own backstories and stuff, and their own motivations and everything, which is cool. But where I am right now, the mountains. This is one of the cooler parts of the game, actually. So when you're doing the early game, it's kind of all mostly flatlands. There are like hills you can go over, and there's elevation and stuff. It's not like crazy, but you always see when you get to the central region, you always see these mountains in the distance. Especially when you get to the weather station, and then you like go down to the Timefall farm, and you see that you're like kind of going along the mountains when you're doing that, and you're like, oh, there's you're sitting there thinking, because they're on the map, right? The mountains are,
yeah.
but you like open the map and you're like, oh, I mean, there's no way I'm gonna go over that, right? Like I'm certainly gonna go around that and create some kind of like, I don't know, path around, and I'm gonna have to go around that. Nope, you can go over the mountain, bro. It's the game sends you directly over the mountain, and that is a huge part of the game is traversing mountain terrain, actually. And it's fucking awesome. Like, it's so cool that this is one of those games that for the most part, if you can see it, you can go there,
Yeah.
Obviously there are barriers on the outer edges of the map and stuff where that's not true, but I mean, this central region is gigantic in this game. And it feels so satisfying to build, like, because I'm at the point where like I built a zip line network over the mountain between Mountain Knot City and the weather station.
I did
And
too. I did the same thing.
dude, but it fucking rules, because I'm like, dude, I get to the weather station and they have a couple orders for me to go to Mountain Knot, and I'm just like, zip, 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 zip. Oh, I'm done in like 3 minutes. It's like it just fucking rules. Because your first time going over the mountain is so harrowing, dude. Like, you're going through BT zones, your shit's getting destroyed by the Timefall snow, you're super slow. Sam's stamina is just like draining like crazy. It's like your fucking balance is terrible in certain areas because it's slippery or you're on rocks and stuff, or it's really steep. So it's like really treacherous. But after you build the zip lines, it's just like you don't even have to think about it anymore. You're literally just
Yeah.
like, it's so rewarding. Like it feels so rewarding, So I think this game is excellent. I really do. And it's funny that I'm hearing about Death Stranding 2 now, and everybody says it's better than the first game in every way. Um, I am interested to see that. I'm sure that's true, but it's like as much as even if that is true, this is an excellent game in its own right. And I think it deserves all the praise that it got when it came out. I really like the the fact that the game severely discourages you from engaging in combat. And I love that, killing people is not a way to advance yourself in the game. I think
Yeah.
most video games, like the vast majority of games we play, combat is a component of them, killing things is a component of them, and that's just always been true. And I really enjoy games where they go out of their way to kind of make that not the main mechanic, or it's not even in the game at all. I like games where there's no combat really and you can't really kill people.
Well,
I enjoy that.
what's funny about Kojima games is you think all the way since Metal Gear, he
Hmm.
tries to avoid you killing
Yeah.
people, you know?
Yeah,
So,
it's just in Metal Gear it was easier to get away with,
yeah.
because all you really had to do was hide the body.
Yeah.
And if you were using a silencer for the most part, you were good in most of the Metal Gear games. But here it's like you literally cause like a nuke explosion. It's fucking crazy. So I love that. I do like the fact though that they do give you weapons if you have to fight or you want to fight. They give you non-lethal weapons like assault rifles that shoot like rubber bullets and shotguns as well, that shoot rubber bullets. So you can take guys down, and I actually was doing that the other day. I think it was yesterday actually. I did like assault a couple of mule camps with rubber bullet weapons, and I just knocked them all out and
It's
stole
so
all their
fun.
shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it was super fucking satisfying. Because like I need shit for the roads now, and I think that's kind of what I'm gonna do. Is I'm just gonna go into mule camps and just steal all their shit. Because they
Mhm.
usually have like tons of metals and ceramics and all the like raw materials you would need, and stuff. So I think that's what I'm going to do because I mean I have all the major weapons at my disposal at this point for the most part. I don't think I have everything, but I mean all you really need is like an assault rifle and some grenades, and you can probably take down a mule camp pretty easily. So I will say the shooting, now that I'm doing it more, definitely doesn't feel super tight in this game. Like it's a little loosey goosey. And I can see where people were complaining about that. I just think it's overblown though. I still feel that way. I don't think the combat in this game is miserably bad the way people describe it. I think it's serviceable. And it's not really what you're supposed to be doing anyways, so it's fine. I think it works for the game. I think for what the game's trying to do. So,
Yeah.
um, I'd highly recommend it. I really would. It is just the way the game peels the onion back for you and really starts to like give you new tools to use is just so it's really masterfully done after you get to chapter 3 where you start getting things that really enable doing deliveries in an easier way. Whereas chapter 2 and 1 are just so it's just you literally just have to walk. Like you don't have access to very much. And even when they give you a vehicle, you can't use it very well in chapter 2. Um so yeah, but yeah, I'd say grind through it. It's worth it. Just grind through it. The mid game of this game is awesome. It's super fun. So highly recommend it. I don't know. I am thinking once I finish this, I don't know if I'm going to jump straight into Death Stranding 2 or not. I kind of want to though. I'm very immersed in this world right now, and I kind of think it's worth just jumping right into the next one. So we'll see on that. But yeah, that's all I'm playing. So let's jump into the news for this week. We don't have a ton of news, but a couple interesting things here. So a YouTuber, his channel's called Moore's Law is Dead, and he is a prominent leaker for hardware rumors and stuff, and he has done some big leaks on PlayStation 6 this past week. And he released a bunch of specs that he got from some documentation, internal Sony documentation about it. And I'm not going to go through the spec sheet. You can go find that online if you want. The biggest takeaways are that it is going to have 3 times the 3D rendering performance of base PS5 and 2 times of what is offered by PS5 Pro. And it's going to have a significantly increased ray tracing capabilities on the next console. That seems to be a focus of what Sony wants to do as well. But the other thing he said is that it is not a significantly more powerful machine than PS5 or PS5 Pro. And it seems like Sony is really trying to keep it affordable. Actually, he's speculating that the price tag is going to be $499 for this thing. And this is coming in a time where rumors of Xbox's next console are going as high as $800. So, it seems like Sony is zigging when everyone else is zagging.
Yeah.
In this sense, and this is a very successful strategy for them in the PS4 era. Actually, so it makes a lot of sense. People online are very upset that this isn't going to be like this monstrous powerhouse of a machine, but
I have
I don't
a
know,
very hot
Macho. Yeah,
take. Yeah.
what do you think?
I I think this is the right course. I think games should start doing this. I think what we actually need is processing and rendering power,
Yeah.
but not for graphics, but to do crazy shit. You know, I saw a thread on like Twitter or something like that a couple of weeks ago,
Hmm.
and I think we actually talked about it too. Maybe we talked about it on Discord or something like that with our friends. But you remember the crazy things that developers used to do um just to get by with like they did like it looked like magic tricks or whatever. We talked
Yeah.
about it, I think on the pod and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think those type of things are very creative because of the limitations. And I actually think like this is going to sound so backwards, but I think we need those limitations back to make gaming really good or to
Yeah.
make developers actually think and the devs and stuff like that. Um because like we're getting these giant, fucking 500 gig games and stuff like that and it's just like dude like fucking optimize your games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think graphics should be getting more realistic. I'm over that. We did that. We've been chasing that for the last honestly 15 years since the inception of the 360 and PS3. We've been chasing realistic graphics. I don't think we can get more realer. We can get Avatar level graphics, but do you
Yeah.
really want it? Like,
Are
I
we?
don't really.
Yeah. I kind of feel like we're getting close to the ceiling, though. You know.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't think we need it. I think, like, to be honest with you, like Death Stranding is as far as I want it to go. Like that's
Yeah.
it, you know.
I heard Death
Uh,
Stranding 2 is fucking gorgeous, by the
yeah,
way.
that's what I'm saying.
So
Like Death Stranding too.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
think that's as far as I want it to go. Right. I don't need that anymore. And I actually like how they're focusing on power in the other sense of power more than like, oh, we need the latest graphics card and everything like that. Like if you look at the stuff, it's just for enhancing performance.
Yeah.
I don't mind having a PS5 Pro, Pro. Like I don't
Yeah.
mind that. That's what this PS6 sounds like. I don't mind that at all. Actually, I mean, I think the industry has learned that people, even though there's that study that came out like a year or two ago where that said like a lot of people play in fidelity mode. I think if they could play in performance mode and not lose that fidelity, they would do that. And I
Yeah.
think that's where we're getting at. I think we're starting to be like, okay, I think the graphics are okay, but now we can improve the performance of holding those graphics.
Yeah.
And that's I'm actually glad to see Sony doing that and they're pivoting that way too because you don't need a whole bunch of stuff to boost up the price. Um, Now that we're dealing with like tariffs and all the other stuff like that, I think it's causing companies now to get more creative with how they make their machines and how they market their
Yeah.
machines and how they focus their machines on what they need to focus on. So I actually like this. I know a lot of people. I think the people that are upset about it, I'm gonna be honest with you, aren't real gamers, bro. Like,
I think
or
they're
you,
PC bros that
yeah, yeah,
pretend they care about console. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Is I I don't know, man. Like maybe I shouldn't say real gamers. I should say I think they're new age gamers that were born in this like very HD graphic fidelity era.
yeah, definitely
Um
for sure.
and yeah, and the PC bros, like you said, like I think those are another major contributing factor to that as well.
Yeah, yeah. I am largely in agreement with you because Tom mentioned that their goal is basically to hit 4K 120 is 120 frames is kind of what they ultimately what they want to hit, but 4K 60 more realistically. And I am of the belief that that is totally fine. That was something he mentioned as well, was like most people's TVs can't even go above 120 frames anyways because they're 120 hertz, you know.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, and most people don't even have 4K TVs yet either, you know. And going above 4K is just pointless because like who has an 8K TV? You know, nobody. It's just not a thing right now. And I think Sony understands that and realizes that and is like, yeah, this isn't a generation where we need to push the envelope for power necessarily. And I don't really disagree, dude. Like, I think I think like what you said is kind of key is yeah, we need to get performance to a point where we can have fidelity and performance mode at the same time, right? PS5 Pro was an attempt to get there, and that's kind of what they've done with it. PS6 is going to take it a little bit further, maybe get us to 120 frames, but that's about it, right? And that's kind of the limit. And at that point, what more are we getting out of the hardware component of the console? It's got to be enhancing the games in some way, you know, allowing us to have, like you said, the processing power, having more, you know, in the game at the same time, more things loaded in memory, like things like that, you know, less like vertical performance and more horizontal performance, you know, where we're kind of making the game more robust in ways that aren't just graphical fidelity, you know. And I
Yeah.
think I don't know how easy that'll be to sell necessarily, but dude, that price tag sells itself. $500 if that's real in a couple years. That's what they're launching PS6 at. I mean, dude, good game, Nintendo. Like, what the like? You're really gonna pay 450 for a Switch 2 and you can get a PS5, PS6 for $50 more? You know, it's like, I mean, that's highly competitive pricing. With the way everyone else is acting, Nintendo, and then you've got Microsoft increasing Xbox Series pricing, you know, when their console's floundering, and they're potentially going to be charging an exorbitant amount for their next piece of hardware. It then becomes a thing of like Sony's just kind of like they're just going to eat the rest of the market, you know. Whatever's left is going to be theirs, you know, just based on pricing, not even like functionality necessarily. So, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think it's the right approach for them business wise. And I think even for gamers, like I think this is good for us too because that means it's going to be affordable, you know.
Hmm.
And because I mean, dude, the PS5 Pro is just $700. The next console is going to cost less than a PS5 Pro. I didn't think that was even going to be remotely a possibility. Remember, we talked about this like several months ago. I was like, yeah, there's no way. I mean, we need to get our heads around the idea that the PS6 is going to be like a $700-800 device, and in here we are, and maybe it's not. You know,
Yeah.
so that would be huge. I would be very happy about that personally. So the other thing he leaked though is that there is going to be a smaller model that is going to be some sort of handhelds that's going to launch with the console as well, and it will be able to play. It will be able to play PS6 games. Obviously at a lower frame rate, lower resolution, probably. But that is the intent of it. And I am again all for this as well. I love the idea of having a handheld companion to my PS6 or my console in general, because that means I'm not tethered to the console, right? Like I can take it wherever I want. If I want to go on a trip, I can bring it with me. You know, I don't have to bring the whole ass console with me. You know, and I
Yeah.
love the idea of that as well. I think it will be a huge enhancement to the usability of the console for me personally. I don't know how popular it will be otherwise, but I do think it will be a device because I mean the portal's still a situation where dude they can't make enough. Like they sell everything they make at the portal, which is really crazy to me. But um, it seems to have worked that way, and I think that convinced them to maybe get into this game a little bit. So yeah, no, all around, I think this is a very positive thing. Um, yeah, you have any other thoughts on this?
Nope.
Okay, so we did get another question from Dat Dude that I thought was relevant here, though. He said, I feel the PS5 is probably Sony's weakest console to date. I'm not so sure if the PS6 would be worth it if the PS5 is any indication of where the platform is heading. How do you guys feel about the PS5 almost 5 years in? So go ahead, yeah, if you want to take this
Oh,
first.
I was gonna say like before this report, even though this is a rumor, I was actually in the same boat. Um, I actually don't like where the PS5 is headed, and I agree. There is it is debatable, so I won't argue with people if they say you're wrong. But I do think PS5 is the weakest lineup as far as uh I don't know, just
First,
overall
first party,
experience.
first
Yeah,
party games
yeah. It's just it's a default console if that makes any sense.
or
It's not
identity. Does it lack an identity?
yeah,
Is that
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
exactly what it is. That's actually what it is. Yeah, it
yeah,
has a lack of identity. Um the PS3, I don't know what the identity is, but you feel something when you play the PS3.
true.
PS4, you still feel that as well. When you play the PS5, it's like okay, this is kind of more of the same with the PS4, but improved or more powerful, but less improved. If that makes any sense. It just has no
Yeah,
personality, in my opinion. It feels very
yeah,
blah. It feels very default. If that makes any sense. It just doesn't have any
generic.
competition.
Yeah,
Generic, yeah. It just doesn't have any
yeah,
competition. And that
yeah,
lack of competition did not breed any creativity within this console space, or within the Sony franchise. And I'll be that guy and say I was wrong about the West. I think that's primarily because the West of the Sony franchise or the Sony division was running the show, and they're very suits and executive board focused, and they
yeah,
lack the vision that maybe an Eastern division of Sony would have brought to the stratosphere, or whatever the
yeah,
case may be. So,
yeah.
um, and maybe that's just like a bias, and it's like, ooh, Japanese, but it's just like I I don't know. I mean, the last two console generations kind of speak for themselves. The last three actually speak for themselves compared to what Sony is doing now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I think this is a great question to ask now, right? Because we are 5 years in, and it's crazy to think about that we're 5 years in because it doesn't really feel like a whole lot's happened in
exactly,
those 5 years,
exactly.
you know. But when you really look back on it, I think this generation probably like long term, like 20 years from now, is going to be looked back on as like a stepping stone to PS6. And I have a feeling that PS6 is going to be like a fucking firestorm generation, honestly, for games, because it's particularly for Sony because they fucked this whole generation up by going into this live service thing as hard as they did. They ended up wrapping up a lot of their primary studios in making live service games that we never saw come out. Because there was The Last of Us Online. We had Blue Point working on a fucking God of War live service game. Ben was working on a live service game. We know Gorilla's was working on one, or still is working on one that hasn't come out yet. Insomniac was working on a Spider-Man live service game, if you remember that, like multiplayer co-op thing that never
Mhm.
never came to fruition. They just wasted so much time of their premium developers on this whole live service initiative to the point that we have gotten very few games from their primary studios this generation, and that is, I mean, like literally, we might not get a game from Naughty Dog this generation. You know, that's crazy to think about, because Last of Us came out on PS4, and while the Intergalactic looks like it's coming to PS5, it probably will, and at a minimum it'll be cross-gen, I assume, but
Yeah.
it's going to be very late in this console cycle. I think it's going to probably be the last year, similar to The Last of Us Part 2. So you have just a lot. Insomniac's really the only one that's like really delivered a lot. They've delivered 3 games, and then you have we got a God of War, we got a Horizon, but those two games in particular, Ragnarok and Forbidden West, to me, were just not very interesting games from the perspective of like they just were kind of more of the same from the previous
Yeah.
entry, and they were not like they were good in their own right, but I just don't think they had that wow factor, right? And we haven't gotten new IP from Sony this generation either as a result of all this, and you obviously have the Concord debacle. Like this generation is just marred by that whole initiative, for Sony. And I think what's going to happen is we have a lot of games coming out in the back end of this generation, and I think early into the next generation, like PS6 early on, I think is going to have a lot of first party stuff coming. And we're going to end up having like a really good generation from them where we're going to get multiple releases from each studio probably in PS6, and that's going to be a generation where we think it's fire, right? From the third party standpoint, I think this generation's been great actually for the most part. It's just that's all we have, right, is the third party stuff, which you can play anywhere, so it doesn't really like give Sony any kind of identity with their console, per se. And it's the same with Microsoft. It's just that Microsoft has Game Pass, which has been their identity for, 8 years now, something like that. And that's just continued through this console generation. So at least we have something to point to with Microsoft. Whereas, with Sony, they don't have an initiative like that. I know they have, the PlayStation Plus, the tiers or whatever, but that's just a copycat thing they're doing. That's not them innovating, right? In any real way. So I kind of agree with that notion that this console kind of lacks an identity. We'll probably look back on it and be very blah about it, it's funny though, because it's the best console I've ever played on, like in terms of experience. Like playing on a PS5 is fucking awesome. Like it's a great
Yes.
experience for the most part. The games run beautifully. It's so fast. Everything loads like fucking instantly. But like, how short is our memory though? Right? Like we just forget how bad the experience was in PS4. I fucking hated the PS4 by the end of it. I was so fucking done with that console, dude. By the time PS5 came out, I hated the load times. I remember playing Monster Hunter World, and I would go up to get a fucking drink while the game loaded.
Oh yeah, it did low
Shit
for
was
such a
shit
long
was
time,
fucking
dude.
obnoxious, bro. I remember Bloodborne had like 2-minute load times, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's fucking oh, it's faster than what most games." And it's like, what are we doing, man? So yeah, it's like we do have short memories, I think, in that regard, because it is from an actual experience point of view, it's been a great experience. It's not things that like sell the console really, so there's so yeah, I don't know. It's like it's interesting. On the one hand, I think it's a great generation in terms of, it's the most powerful device we've ever had really from the console space, but on the other hand, I totally get the idea that there's really no identity to the console because Sony just hasn't really released a whole lot on it. And even the games we have gotten, like I mentioned, God of War and Horizon, Spider-Man 2 actually was similar, right? Like that game kind of disappointed as well. Like I don't think it was up to their normal standard. They've gotten a little weird with their single player stuff where they're playing it very safe with the single player games, but then they're like taking these huge risks trying to develop live service games, and they're failing in both ends, I think.
Yeah.
So but I think with the leadership they have now, I'm kind of expecting that to change over the next few years. I think the next gauntlet of games we get is going to be very strong, personally. So yeah, we'll see. All right, let's move on to our next story, which is Xbox canceling more games. They have canceled Contraband, which was a game they announced at E3 like 4 years ago. And they're stopping development of the game to, quote, evaluate the project's future, which basically means that it's canceled. Essentially, this was broken by Jason Schreier, and this was a game being developed by Avalanche Studios, which is the team that made the Just Cause games. And yeah, this was announced a long time ago, and we've heard literally nothing from it since, pretty much. And I mean, I don't even think we knew what type of game it was going to be
No, we
necessarily.
didn't. That's
Um,
kind of why I don't. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on it because we didn't know. All we knew was from the it was from the people who made what was that game called you just said? I'm sorry.
Just Cause, yeah,
Just Cause, yeah. And I'm not really a big Just Cause fan, but I know there was a cult following for that game.
yeah, yeah. So, um, I don't know, man. It's just Xbox is in they're in some real disarray right now. It's like I think the thing going back to the Sony question, right, from the last story was like I think at least Sony's given us as much as they fuck things up, right? I think the PS5 is stability at a minimum, right? Whereas Xbox is in like total disarray this whole generation.
Hmm.
To the point that we don't even we're getting another console generation from them, but we feel like that might be the end. And it's pretty clear that they're giving up on hardware, long term. So it's like I don't know, it's just another thing. It's just another nail, in the coffin for Xbox to me. It's like, I mean, was this game important? Probably not that important, really. I'd never really heard a lot of people talking about it per se,
Hmm.
but again, it's because we haven't seen it in forever. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel
Uh,
the same way. I feel like this is it's just another thing for people to kind of beat up on Xbox for, but I don't know. I don't really care about this game. I didn't really know what was going on, and it sucks that they canceled another game. And kind of goes to the whole initiative of Xbox of why they bought all these studios and did nothing with it. It seems like they were just trying to beat Sony to the punch
yeah,
in buying all these studios. So,
yeah, yeah. And I don't know Avalanche like, um, what else they're even working on. Like, they haven't released a game since Rage 2 in 2019, dude. So I think they've been working on this game since then or close to it. So it's like, are they in trouble now? Like, because they haven't made a Just Cause game since 2018 with Square. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, just more in line with how Xbox has been operating. So all right. Next story, our final story this week, another Xbox story. There's a rumor going around that Starfield is coming to PS5 in the spring of 2026, along the release of the next expansion. This was supposedly delayed. Actually, it was supposed to come this year. They're delaying it because the performance of the first expansion was poor. Um, so I mean, this isn't like huge news at this point. We know kind of pretty much all these games are coming to PlayStation 5 at some point, right? But do you think Starfield will have a big impact on PS5 the way that Forza Horizon did, though?
wait, I don't know. Wait, say that again? I apologize. That
so,
kind of threw me off. Like,
so
I don't
the
know.
way I worded it, sorry.
Yeah.
So Starfield, do you think Starfield will have the sales impact? Like, will sell a lot of units on PS5 the way that Forza Horizon has?
Oh, okay. I don't know why. I must have missed that part. I apologize. All right. No. I Starfield's just not fun. Like it's a
Yeah,
boring ass game. I mean, if you I really didn't see PS5 people clamoring to play this game. Um it might have a surgence because it's off the backs of like Oblivion remaster, but no. Um Starfield is a extremely boring game. It had the
yeah,
potential to be something great, but uh even to do the greatness you need to be on PC for mods and stuff like that.
yeah.
It's just really boring, man. Like they spent all this time on this game just to make a really, really generic, boring game. It's just so boring.
Okay.
I just I don't know
Sorry.
how to describe it to you how boring this game is. It's so fucking boring, dude. Like
Well, do you think I'm a I'm a Bethesda hater, okay? I don't think they've made a good video game in a
ever.
very long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say ever, but in a very long time. Do you
Yeah.
think they just don't understand how to make fun games anymore?
Yeah. I legitimately do.
Yeah.
Um I think they lost the sauce. They don't understand what made Daggerfall good. They don't understand what made Oblivion good. They don't understand what made
Morrowind.
Morrowind good. They don't understand what made even Skyrim. They don't understand
Yeah.
what made those games good. Fallout 3, um I think this I blame on the players. I think them letting Fallout 4 get past them was the real,
Yeah.
because to me, off rip, I didn't like Fallout 4 like
That
at
game
all.
sucks. That game
I hated
sucks
Fallout
ass,
4.
bro.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Um and players let Fallout 4 go, because it got patched up and fixed or whatever. But I didn't like Fallout 4 on launch. Like I like it 7, 8 years later. It's a decent game, but we had to get there to get there. But like if you're talking about the moment to moment, like story beats and everything of that nature, it's just not. It doesn't even hold a candle to Fallout 3. It just doesn't, man. Like
Mhm.
Fallout 3 was just way better. It had way better environmental storytelling. It had way better side stories. It had way better just atmosphere and everything like that. It felt like a Fallout game. Fallout 4 with this voice protagonist and all this other bullshit uh and everything like that. It just didn't feel out like a Fallout game. It felt like a meme of itself, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah. I got you.
um and I feel the same way about Starfield. I feel like Starfield is Outer Worlds. If Outer Worlds was like, "Oh, hey guys, we're trying to be quirky," it's like,
Yeah.
and it fails in a cringy way. Like you ever met somebody who's just like trying too hard to be quirky? That's Outer Worlds. But then
Yeah.
you meet someone who's just fucking boring as fuck. That's fucking Starfield. Like they're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're like the same like family, or like brother or sister or something like that, or brother and brother, and they're just both like trying too hard. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, how to explain it, but
Mhm.
um that's how I feel about like Starfield. Starfield is just, when I played the game, man, like it had the potential to be great. And I'm like, is
Yeah.
there something else here? Is there something else here? Is there something else here? Oh, you get these little bullshit powers. All right, is there something else here? Is there something else here? And it wasn't there.
It's just the
Um,
same thing over and over and over again.
yeah, it just, even
Yeah.
exploring the worlds, they have a gameplay loop to them. Um, And like I didn't expect anything crazy. You know what? Fuck that. I did expect something crazy because you've been working on this game for 8 fucking years, and I did expect something, dude.
Yeah.
And it was just like you explore this world, and then that world has like the same kind of like gameplay loop to it, and then you go away or whatever. No Man's Sky does a way better job at this.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Than Starfield, in my opinion. And that's like an online game. That's an online whatever. Um
Mhm.
and um I don't know, man. It was a real letdown. Like I played it for like maybe 20 hours, and then I just dropped it. I just didn't care anymore. Like I actually forgot
Yeah.
I have that game installed on my computer. Like I just uninstalled it recently because I just forgot it was there.
Mhm.
Um I don't know, man. Like nothing can say, honestly, I don't know how Bethesda didn't close after this game came out, to be honest with you. It's actually, I mean, I know they had layoffs, but this game was egregiously boring, like egregiously boring. Um, I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
And
I've long felt
PS5 players can't save this game. I'm sorry, they just can't.
yeah. Yeah. No, I've long felt like Bethesda's overrated. I think they got known for having really buggy and broken games, and gamers just put up with it for some reason. And like for whatever reason thought it was, oh, it's charming. It's like, no, it's not charming that your game crashes because you put a hat on in the middle of the fucking wherever the fuck. That's not charming. Like this is fucking
Well, the
stupid,
the
bro.
problem, it was in, like, Oblivion did have its stuff, right? But it was still a game, and it had lore, and it had good exploration and all this other stuff like that. Yeah, the games were broken, like, okay. But it still had that charm was a factor. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, it was a factor in the games. But
Yeah.
um it was also just Oblivion's world was better. The things you can do were better. And um like Daggerfall, they had like randomized dungeons and everything like that. So it was just it was more, and what they were trying to do at the time as well, you gotta think at the time, like talking to random NPCs and them having their own quest lines and stuff like that and all this other shit. Like that was like groundbreaking back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like that was ambitious.
Yeah.
And but now that's the standard. And that's what I mean by Starfield. Um and Bethesda in general. Like what you did back then was groundbreaking. Like no one can take that away from them, you know?
Yeah.
And but now your groundbreaking is now the standard. What else can you do? You see,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's I say that about Starfield too. And I don't know if you remember, but that's what I said about Starfield. Starfield is like, what else can you do, bro? We seen No Man's Sky do this. We've seen other games do this. What else can you do? You can't. This game felt like a game that should have been made in 2015.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just Bethesda's MO now though, dude. Like they make games from like old generations, you know? And it's like they don't make them well. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like it would be cool if they were good, I guess, but they're not, you know? So I don't know, dude.
They're
Whatever.
not pushing
Oh,
the envelope in any way.
no,
Um,
they're not.
which is why I'm like disappointed in like games like Outer Wilds, or I'm sorry, not Outer Wilds, but
Outer
Outer
Worlds,
Worlds rather. Like
they didn't get
if
it
you're
either.
they didn't get it either. They're like, oh, the gamers want this, and it's like,
They're making
no,
like
I
a
want you.
parody almost. Like it
Yeah,
was
it's
weird.
like
I don't like
uh,
the tone of that series, you know?
the reason why I think everyone missed the mark when it comes to like
Fallout.
Skyrim, Oblivion, and Fallout,
Yeah.
particularly Fallout New Vegas. I think no one understand, or a lot of people understand it, but the developers don't understand. They don't understand what made that game great. It pushed the envelope as far as storytelling, as far as your choices, as far as what you can do as a player, and how many. I think it had like 14 or like 10 different endings or some shit like that. And it's like it
Yeah.
pushed that envelope as far as what you can do and how you can influence the world and everything. The writing was good and everything of that nature. Even with
Yeah.
Fallout 3, even though it didn't have as many endings, it was still so many quest lines that had so many different branches and everything of that nature, right? For a
Mhm.
Bethesda game. And
Yeah.
Skyrim was the same way. It pushed that envelope as far as like what you can do and everything of that nature, which is probably why it keeps selling every time a remastered version comes out of it, right? Because people remember that and they're like, man, I remember I can just do anything, I can build anything, I can build my ultimate fucking fantasy character in this game or whatever. And but then you have games like Starfield come out and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in space. Okay. Even your aesthetic was like
Well,
NASA.
bro, I
Like
feel like
that was
they're
your aesthetic,
no,
you
I
know?
know. I feel like they're like their marketing pitch for this game though was literally like, "Hey guys, it's space. And space is big, isn't it? It's so big." You know, and it's like okay,
How do
you
you
know.
make space exploration boring? Like, I get it.
I don't
That's
dude.
probably how it would be in real life. Like it probably will if we had space exploration, it would probably be that boring, right? I get it. But like you're a
Bro, we'd
video
be
game.
gaming all day as we're going from planet to planet, bro. It'd be
Yeah.
it would take
So
us 6 months to get from one place to another, and we're like, all right, I could beat like 25 games, you know, on this
yeah.
trip. This is awesome, bro. You know,
So
oh man, but
I get it from that standpoint. But the problem was like you can even build your own ship, bro. You don't get attacked by like pirates or anything. I think you rarely get attacked by pirates or something like that. Maybe they added that in the game. Like I really wanted it. You know what I wanted it to be? I wanted it to be fucking Star Citizen, but single
yeah,
player. I really
yeah,
wanted to
sure, sure, sure. I
like
get that.
own my own companies and I just really
Yeah.
wanted to influence my
Or
own
like
my
Fable type esque in space, where
yeah.
you yeah.
Yeah, like I really wanted to be Eve offline. Like that's really what I wanted, to be honest with you.
Mm, mhm.
And for the life of me, Justin, I don't understand why we don't have that already. Why don't we have an Eve
I
offline?
don't know. I don't fucking know because they want to make Eve like actual Eve. It's like, I mean,
Like and why don't we have a Star Citizen online where I can just everything's offline, it's in my world. I mean, there may be a main story, but like I can, if I want to be a fucking pirate dog and own like a pirate fucking thing, or if I
yeah,
want to be a mercenary and
build my
just
own space station
build
and
my own
shit.
station. Yeah.
Yeah,
If I want to be a cowboy bebop esque mercenary and I take out, bad people here and there,
yeah,
like
yeah.
let me do that. And that's what I
No,
thought this game was gonna
yeah.
be, and it just wasn't that, dude.
No,
Like,
these are the kind of things I think that hardware now should be helping us with is like improving AI, making AI patterns better in games, where you can like have more intricate NPCs where they have more patterns or they're doing more things or they can interact with things in a way where it's not programmed specifically, like they actually react to things that happen, so you can have a game like what you're describing where like because in Eve it's very player focused and player generated like most of the content in the game. But yeah, a single player version of that needs NPCs that can interact with things that the player does,
and that,
so
and I
say you
agree
make a
with you.
company. Yeah, say you
Yeah,
make a company, right? Like you need the NPCs to like buy your product and like interact with your company, and then you need to hire NPCs to like run the company and shit. Like it's like that intricate, but I do feel like there are limitations that prevent that from happening right now, or game developers don't want to figure it out. That's probably the more realistic answer.
well, they want to use
Um,
AI in very egregious ways. Like they want to
yeah,
do it for art and stuff like that. But no,
right.
use the AI for like behavior things. Like you said,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, if I do want to be a mercenary, like or whatever, have like AI villains pop up, like what? And then the other part of this is like litigation, right? Because like, why don't we have a nemesis system in every game or like
Yeah,
every open world game type of situation? Because
yeah,
it's patented and
yeah.
WB are fucking
Right.
idiots. But like that game, like the nemesis was groundbreaking because of that shit. Like it actually influenced your game when you killed like a low level
Work. Yeah,
captain or orc or whatever, and it
yeah.
influenced your game to who can be the top orc or whatever. And like, imagine like a mercenary system like that, or imagine like you're playing Batman, you some goon you put in jail, like he rats on another goon, and the goon like climbs up, and now he taking over. He's the new Joker or whatever the fuck, like stupid shit like that. Like that shit would be fucking. And then if we have the inclusion of AI into that, like, dude, the video game would be almost limitless. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand where these people's heads are at. Like, and I'm not a programmer. I know that it's way more easier said than done. But it's just like, why aren't we
They don't even
there yet?
try though. They're not even
They're
trying.
not even trying.
They're
Yeah,
not even trying.
exactly.
Like,
They're not even
and
trying.
like, trust me, I'll point to all the 4X games I could fucking say that don't even try to make their AI fucking remotely intelligent. So, I don't want to fucking hear it with that. If you're gonna counter argue on that, because I don't think developers. It's so weird that games from the '90s have better AI than games today. It's
Look,
ridiculous.
I mean, you heard of Fear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that game's AI. People still don't understand how the fuck they did what they did with the game's AI. Like the
Yeah.
game's AI, they would literally flank the fuck out of you, like military
Hmm.
tactics type shit. And they're
Hmm.
like, this game's AI is insane. Like, and no one has
Yeah.
done this ever since. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they don't. I don't know. They don't put the effort in, and yeah, I don't know. You talking about space too. I have become very skeptical of sci-fi games actually.
Yeah.
Recently, because playing Stellaris was really eye-opening to me. That like gamers are accepting subpar design just because they want a space game. Like
Yep.
I don't think Stellaris is very fun. Like as a Space 4X, like I'm like, this is it. Like, dude, you have all these systems in place about shipbuilding and like how complicated you can make your ships, and you have different classes of ships, and all those ships have different parts and fucking weapon types, and those weapon types interact with the different shield types differently and armor and shit differently. And what happens when you smash your ships together and fight each other? Oh, they just shoot at each other and the numbers go down. That's it. You can't do anything. There's no strategy, or there's very little strategy involved. You literally just mash them together and they shoot at each other, and whoever has the bigger numbers wins. It's like that's literally how the combat works in Solaris. And I'm like, what are we doing? What is this? How is this? Why do people think this is fun? Like, I'm like, what am I missing here? Like there's no strategic element to this combat. I can't like outmaneuver my opponent with my fleets. Like, you kind of can with a little bit of it, sort of, but it takes like this. It's just not the way the game is intended. It's literally just smash your armies together and somebody wins. You know, it's like, I'm like, and obviously it's a different genre from what Starfield is, but I get what you're saying with Starfield. Is like, I think they designed the game with the idea that like, yeah, just the idea of like flying a ship around is going to be fun in space, and it's like, not really, bro. There's nothing out there, you know, like you're not, like, space is empty, you know. The idea of just flying a ship and stuff is not that interesting if you're not making an immersive sim, you know. Like, if you're not making what's that immersive sim that's online? I forget what the name of it is. Not Eve, it's a different one. Where like the flying of ships and shit is like really realistic and stuff.
Elite Dangerous.
Yes, Elite Dangerous. Yeah. Unless you're trying to do that, like, that's not fun, because that's not the conceit of the game, you know.
And that's the problem, bro. I felt like they were trying to do all that stuff without trying to do all that stuff. Because when you get on certain planets,
they went halfway with all of it.
Yeah. When you get on certain planets, there are pirate factions there, but you just fight them, and like, you can't negotiate with them or anything. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, and you can board ships. Like, I forgot about that aspect. You can board other people's ships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when you're fighting people and you're getting into dogfights and stuff like that, you can board their ships and they can board your ships and stuff like that. And that's fun, but it's just like, okay, what if I want to be the pirate now? What if I want to, you know, I don't know, like, it doesn't have an influence on the world per se, if that makes any sense. And maybe they fixed that since then, but I just really wanted like an immersive game where you know what I really want to do? Maybe I just need to get a lot of money and fucking fund the game. I really just want a game where I can play as Spike from fucking Cowboy Bebop. Like, I just think that world is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, a merc who's like, my job is just to get bounties, bro, and I'm not trying to save the world or nothing. There's a bounty on the thing, because that seems so interesting to me. Like, I just get to fly around in space, catch bad guys. I don't really care about what they did. They got a bounty on their head, and you're mine, bro. I'm taking you in.
Well, that's the story of Intergalactic. Unfortunately, you're not going to get to fly around space probably, but, you know, so they got the story element of that down for you, Montrell, there.
Yeah.
Just not true. The gameplay. Just not the gameplay systems you're looking for.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. I think sci-fi games have become really, I don't want to call them lazy, but uninspired is what I'll say. They're very uninspired with what they're doing with space. I don't like it. It's weird that Mass Effect is so restricted, and to me is one of the best sci-fi games of all time.
I was just gonna say that was the last sci-fi game I felt something from. Like, I'm playing through. I have to put on my recent games I'm playing, but I am playing through Mass Effect 1 with my wife. She's making the choices, and then I'm playing like the actual gameplay.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So that's fun.
But even Mass Effect 1, she's like weird, so y'all gotta excuse her. But she doesn't like all the world building they're doing. Where I love all this shit. Like, I was like, man, I forgot about all this shit. This shit's fucking cool. But there's a lot of world building where they like repeat the same things and the same type of. Like, you ask one question, you investigate more, and then you advance the conversation. They kind of repeat what they just said again, because they really want the player to understand. And she was like, you already said that. Why are you saying that to me again twice? So I said, but I did say in Mass Effect 2 and 3, they decreased that a lot, actually. This game was just trying to build the world or whatever.
Are you guys listening to the codex entries?
She actually does not like that, dude.
Come on, bro. That guy's voice is so good. Come on, he's perfect.
She reads faster than what he talks.
Oh my god. the Geth are are a semi-sentient synthetic life form, whatever. Like it's so
Yeah,
good, bro.
she reads faster than what he can
Okay.
say. So she likes reading the secondary ones, the secondary codex that doesn't have the voice. She loves reading those, but she wants to learn more. I was like, if you want to learn more about it, just let me know and I'll go into the codex or whatever.
Hmm.
Um or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff I've just been explaining to her, like, the conflicts
True.
between the
Yeah.
Turians and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff I just remember or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff in there though for the codex is just like if you want to learn what Omni Jail is, or all this other stuff, right? It's yeah, it's like
I love
she
how
doesn't really,
granular it got, dude. It's so good.
yeah, and it's like she doesn't really care about that shit, but my fucking nerd ass is like, dude, I
Oh,
forgot this shit was in
absolutely,
there.
bro. I'm all in on that shit, dude. No, like that's why I love Death Stranding because I'm reading all the interviews and shit. I really
Yeah.
am. I'm really engrossed in it. Like I think when world building is good in a video game, there's just I mean in anything really actually. I'm actually reading a book right now that I'm having a similar experience with, where like the world building in it is really good, and that's like keeping me really engrossed in it and into it and keeping me reading. So it's like I love good world building. Like when somebody can make a very like not realistic but like convincing world, where everything makes sense that they're saying for the most part. I think in Death Stranding, the whole idea of timefall and the rain and the timefall snow and stuff is a little herky jerky. I think it mechanically doesn't make a whole lot of sense the way it works because um you like Sam walking through the mountains when there's a fucking literal blizzard blowing in his face, and that's supposed to be timefall snow. I'm like, yeah, you're kind of, there's a little bit of dissonance there, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter that much ultimately. So it's like you kind of get past things like that. But I don't know. I'm with you. Like good world. I think that's part of the problem too. I just think for sci-fi RPGs, I think the ideas that these companies are coming up with are just not very interesting. I think Starfield has an interesting premise with the whole NASA stuff and everything and
Yeah.
all that, but it just sounds like the execution was really bad. Whereas with like Outer Worlds, the premise there is just so goofy and like I don't fucking like it's like taking the piss out of like capitalism and shit. I'm just like I'm not really here for this, man. Like, I kind of want a more straight laced game, like with my sci fi.
Hmm.
That's why I think Mass Effect is just so perfect. Like, it plays it right. It is mostly serious. There are goofy moments and stuff like that in there. There's levity thrown in there, but it is mostly trying to tell a serious story. And I kind of like that in my sci-fi a little bit more. It's very obviously we've talked about this a lot. It's very reminiscent of Star Trek, and I think that's where sci-fi really shines is kind of in that like it's kind of for geeks. I don't think it. I don't know. And yeah, I agree with you with Cowboy Bebop. I think there's a really interesting world there too. And man, that'd be a
Like
cool world to get a game in.
it's and you know what? And, talking about it, right? It's such the opposite of all these other games where they over explain everything.
Yeah,
When you're in the Cowboy Bebop world, you're just immersed in the game or the anime, and it's just happening, and you just accept everything for what it. Because like
yeah,
it's kind of grounded, but it's also kind of like still sci-fi. So you're like, yeah, this is plausible. Like there's no like it's like a western in space. Yeah, that's
yeah.
essentially what it is. It's a western in space, and it's just like, yeah, that's kind of what I want. And I don't need the world for a western to be in space. I don't need the world to be overly complicated or explained to me. They got ships, they got wormholes, and all this other stuff like that. And all right, cool. And now we're off to the races, And I can
Yeah.
believe this world that I'm in. Um, and I think that's even like Space Dandy, that anime and stuff like that. Like I believe these were or Outlaw Star. I believe these worlds that they're in because they're kind of like grounded in a sense of reality with the whole Merc slash
Yeah.
Western thing going on.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't need the whole Mass Effect. explanation of
Mm,
Omnigel and these different companies and why this heat clip works in this gun, it doesn't work in this gun. It's like I don't need all
yeah,
that shit. I
yeah,
like that shit. Don't get me wrong, but the problem with Starfield, it just had none of that shit, dude. Like I actually like the whole NASA take on it. Like I like that aesthetic. I thought that aesthetic was like really fucking cool. I didn't need my ships to look like Star Wars or Star Trek or anything like that. I like the grounded
yeah,
reality of ships in that game, but I hated the worlds. Like I thought the
yeah.
worlds were like really cool and when they first introduced them, but then they just did nothing with them, bro. Like I don't know. So we were talking about PS5, Starfield on PS5, but I'm
We
just letting
got
y'all
way off
know.
on a
Yeah, we
tangent.
got way off on a tangent, but I'm just
Uh,
letting y'all know why I think it just wouldn't work on PS5 either. Like PS5 players, the first like 100,000 PS5 players might buy this game, and then they're going to tell their people not to buy this game because the game's fucking boring. Like I said, unless they fixed a lot of the shit that we were talking about, it's just I don't think it's worth it in my opinion.
yeah.
I do have to touch up on the game. I'm actually going to watch a Starfield Now video. Some YouTuber probably still trying to grift out that game, so I'll probably watch one of those and see what be updated. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, you need to read the Expanse books, actually. I think they're very I think you would like them a lot based on kind of what you were saying
yeah.
there. It's
My
a
wife unironically said that to me too. I think you like the Expanse.
Nah, dude, they're so good. Oh my god. And I think the first two books are like probably the best ones, but they're not. None of them are bad. Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But my favorite is probably the beginning of the series, but it's good throughout. I think it's definitely worth a read, and that it's a 9-book series, so that will keep you busy for quite a while, actually. So, but yeah, I would recommend reading the first one for sure. I love the first book; it's fucking awesome. So, um, yeah, that's good sci-fi right there. Because there's just so much world building in that series. The authors do a really good job of just giving you a picture of what the universe is like and stuff, and everything. So it's really good. All right, Montreal, let's move on. We do have another listener question from Dat Dude, which hey man, I appreciate you writing in. It's been a minute since we had a question on the show, so appreciate you sending a bunch of stuff in. So his question, and this is related to the Monster Hunter talk we had last week. So he said, me and my friends are also heavy into Monster Hunter, and honestly, we feel the same way y'all do. So my question is, do you think the Monster Hunter franchise should just go fully MMO at this point? If it does, do you guys see yourselves still investing time into the franchise? I'm personally out if they continue to handle the content this way. Fun fact, Monster Hunter 3U is where I started. Okay, that was me too, man. Surprised we continued given that game. Everything about that game. But
Yeah, I am surprised y'all continue to play
yeah.
after that game.
But you know what? It was one of those things where like I liked the gameplay until I got to the water, and that's kind of what killed the game for me. But then when 4
Mm,
came out and I found out there was no water, I was like, oh, I'll give this a try again. And then the addiction started at that
started,
point.
yeah.
Yeah. Um but yeah, Montreal, what do you think? Do you think Monster Hunter should go full MMO
They
at this
tried
point?
this already. Frontiers was a full MMO game.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know what that would look like now with Monster Hunter. Like a full real MMO. I mean, like a modern MMO version of Monster Hunter could be really awesome. Don't get me wrong, it really could. But I think the issue, I mean, we've talked about this a lot, is the content release schedule, which he mentions in the question, is just. I was thinking about this when I read his question before we started recording today, and I was just kind of thinking about like why do I not like the way they're handling Monster Hunter, and I think it's because I I don't know how you feel about this and how other people feel about this, and I think I might be in a minority here, but when I'm playing an RPG, right, that has a level cap, and it's kind of one of those RPGs that's balanced in a particular way, right? And Monster Hunter falls into this category where you kind of have a level cap and there's kind of a power ceiling for your character, right? And that's the fun of the game, is getting to that power ceiling and then making your build and seeing how well it works, right? And all that. And what's not fun for me in these games is when their game comes out,
There's a power ceiling. You get to the power ceiling. You're like mega addicted. You're super into it. You spend hundreds of hours or whatever, tens of hours to hundreds of hours building a character out and making them perfect and doing runs and just, like getting your character to like a perfect state. And then they increase the power ceiling with like a DLC or a patch or something, and they like increase the level cap. So you have to do that whole grind again. You know, that shit pisses me off in RPGs. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. I think it's a really shitty design philosophy for RPGs. I think World of Warcraft actually had a lot to do with. I mean, it wasn't the first game to do this back in the day. I mean, plenty of games did it, but I think WoW was the one that kind of popularized the design philosophy of exponential scaling when you increase your level cap, where you like nullify the value of everything players have done up to that point because you've increased the stats so high of the next, however many levels you've increased the cap by, that their old gear is just not viable. They have to go refarm everything. And to me, that's a shitty way to treat your players, and I've always felt that way. And it really annoys the shit out of me that I invest hundreds of hours in your game, and your answer to that is to say "fuck you," do it again. And I think Monster Hunter has fallen into this trap in recent years, where that's how they've started designing the game, and they're making it worse with each release. By the way, it used to be this way, where it was like you had low rank, high rank, right, where you'd have to do the grind once, and then they'd release G rank, and then you'd have to do the grind again. But now with Wilds and Rise, they did this as well. They've started piecemealing the levels now, where like they're coming out with 9-star quests, and an increased like power level 9-star quests, and I think charms and shit are coming with the next patch for this game, and I think which may already be out. I'm not even sure, but like, so people are going to have to regrind a whole bunch of shit, and then they're going to come out with G rank later, and you're going to have to regrind again. And it's just like, I don't know. And like, again, I feel like I'm in a minority here because I don't know why gamers are so into this. I think it's insulting and I hate it. Like, you're making me like redo the same thing over again. You are treating me like a hamster in a hamster wheel. Like, my time is more valuable than that. Like, I hate this design philosophy of video games now, even single player games, where they just want you to play their game forever, and they never want you to touch another game ever. They just want to keep you in their game forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And it's unacceptable if you leave our game. It's like monthly active users, monthly active users, monthly active users. We got to keep people in the fucking game. And it's like, no, dude, like, me playing your single player game forever doesn't do anything for you. Once I bought it. In Monster Hunter's case, yeah, there's DLC I could buy, there's microtransactions I could fucking buy. Maybe that's your philosophy, but it's just like, I feel like you're ruining your game to try to keep me playing. What you're doing is creating the opposite effect, where I don't want to play now, because the way I tend to treat these games, these kind of RPGs that have these level caps, is I tend to wait until they're done, like all the content's out, because I don't want to do the grind 3 times, Like, I'm going to have this problem with Borderlands 4 later this year, right? Because that game is notorious for doing this, where they're going to release the game, level whatever is going to be the level cap, and then they're going to release like level cap increases with the DLCs over time, and you're going to have to re-level and fucking re-grind all the gear you had, at the new level cap and whatever. And it's like, I just, as I've gotten older, I am less and less willing to do that shit unless a game is truly, 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 truly special. And very few games have that honor anymore in the space. So I don't know. That's just me. I don't know how you feel about all that, though.
No, I agree. I feel like so like when I say stuff like this, like I also have to come from a place of like, I've been playing the game since its inception, since 2004. I played the first Monster Hunter, and this was a thing in the first Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
it was worse than actually in the first Monster Hunter, because G rank was exclusively online. You could not play G rank offline.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Unless you got Monster Hunter G, which was like the G rank, which is
that was
also
true for a long time, by the way. Like through 4 Ultimate, that was still
Wait,
true.
Really? No,
you couldn't do G rank offline.
Yeah, you could. You can do it in the
or
games. You could do it in
No, you know what it
co-op.
was? You know what? You're right. You could do G rank offline, but it was still scaled for
It was
multiplayer.
still scaled for multiplayer.
That's what it
Yeah,
was.
that's what it
Yeah,
was.
that's what it was. Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so I've been dealing with this forever. So which is funny because Japanese players have been dealing with this actually forever. They didn't have to deal with. We as American players got lucky because we didn't. I think the only game we had to deal with it was Monster Hunter 3 and then Worlds. And then if you want to count Monster Hunter Generations to Generations U to GU, you can count that if you want to.
Yeah.
But we didn't have to really deal with it until Monster Hunter 3. Uh I think one of the portable games didn't have a Freedom version, but I think Freedom Unite was the portable. Yeah, so we did get Freedom, I think, and then I think we got Freedom Unite. One of those. But this is a relatively new thing to American play or to the Western audience. We didn't get the base version of the games,
Yeah.
um, or
Right.
whatever the case may be. Uh, so it is a very but like you said, we've already been kind of conditioned for it because of the WoWs and the EverQuests and all and the Final Fantasy 14s and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned for it. So when it came over here, it was like, oh, okay, this is like a common thing. Every game Destiny did it, fucking Borderlands sometime did it
Oh my
and
god.
and,
Yeah.
and um so we've been conditioned for it. So when Worlds finally came on the scene, they didn't really have to like people didn't struggle with it. But like but actual Western, if you were like if you started out with 3U and you played 4U and then you played GU, you did not expect this at all. Especially if
Mhm.
you play Generations, you didn't really have to worry about G rank because there were so many fucking monsters in the game. So you just
Yeah.
didn't even worry about G rank. Um and I just felt like that was a real disservice to Monster Hunter fans. I don't know. I feel like when you made that jump to get more players, you should have also made that jump in how we're gonna make the power progression more accessible to the player. That's the only thing That's really the one thing they did not uh, make better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy. And I mean, I know why because of money, but they want the G rank version of the game or whatever. Uh, so like that's why I try to approach these things with like a new player's mindset. Like a lot of people started with World, and that was it. Like they didn't play none of these old games or whatever. And even from a new player perspective, I can see like the appeal of G rank, but I feel like we're in the third game now of the newer generation, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't understand how this. To be honest with you, Monster Hunter should have died with Rise. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be honest with you. That game, the way that game was released, was so fucking egregious. I cannot believe that game was released in the state it was released in.
Yeah.
It's actually
No,
insane.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Um, Wilds got past it off the strength of just being Monster Hunter. If
Yeah.
Wilds was like coming off of Worlds, I think Wilds would be less receptive towards
Yeah.
people, if that makes any sense. Because the way they're handling this game is just fucking egregious. Um, and I don't I don't know where they go from here. Like either you fess up and you make a rank in between hunter rank and G rank and make the armor more accessible to where you can go right
Yeah.
into G rank,
Yeah.
or you just release the entire game in its entirety off rip. That's what you're gonna have to do. I don't like the expansion aspect. I went through this already, obviously
Yeah.
with Final Fantasy, obviously with World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
obviously through all these other games, and I'm tired of it, dude. Like, just give me a complete fucking game and stop trying to nickel and dime me everywhere. And now, now
Yeah.
I'm talking about Monster Hunter now.
Yeah.
Like that's even though the content they're releasing is free. Don't get me wrong, that's free,
Yeah.
and I love
Yeah.
that. But you're doing all these changes to the game to where me and Justin still know there's no point in me jumping back into this game because you still have the same 8 in-game monsters that we're grinding.
Right.
Like, why aren't the other monsters? There are 29 other monsters that you can update or whatever that you can just give at least 3 or 4 moves to, bro. Like, make the
Yeah.
make the little fucking, what was it called, chupacabra or whatever the fuck that thing is.
Yeah.
Make that thing more powerful, or whatever. Make the
Yeah, they don't seem to do that much anymore because the older games, like, dude, even in high rank, you would get not even subspecies, just like the monsters themselves, like the normal ones, would have different move sets. I don't really feel like they do that anymore,
yeah.
It feels bad, actually. It's fucking like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just it's actually stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know, I, trying to justify. You know what? I understand it, right? Because these are people's first 3 Monster Hunter games, so I
Yeah.
understand you justifying it because you are into Monster Hunter. But I've already been down this road before, so my thing is like I see the cracks on this wall that have been here for 20 fucking years. I've seen it already,
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Yeah.
um, and unfortunately, they got that new player base, and they can just do that with the player base, and then the game's gonna die. Instead of them actually trying to improve it and make actual, or maybe it won't.
Yeah.
Maybe they do something and they you know they change some things, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do anything though. I don't know. I mean, dude, the stuff with Wilds is so bad that they seem kind of desperate actually to get the player base back because they did that like summer event where they're doing the Gooner shit now, which that feels very desperate. And then now they've pulled half of a patch forward into August because the increased difficulty stuff was supposed to come in September, you know? Um and that feels like a company that's very desperate to please their players and get them back, And it's not working very well. Which it's it sucks. It's really upsetting because like playing Wilds is fun, Like it's a very fun game. I think the design of the game is largely really good overall. Um, but their approach to content is ruining it, And again, we're gonna be here in a year or year and a half whenever fucking G rank comes out, and Montrell and I are gonna be on this podcast, and we're gonna be fucking like sucking the game's dick, probably. Like trust me, I know it's just, but I think we will acknowledge though at the time that the path to get there didn't need to be as rocky as it was, and that um you know where we keep talking about like, oh, I'm only going to play with G rank. I'm only going to play when G rank comes out. But yeah, I really think the next game, I don't know, dude. Like it's going to have to be something really special to make me play it at launch right away, cuz I don't I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, I don't want to be treated this way, that I'm like that they're like trying to manipulate me into playing the game. I think when it starts to feel that way, you get a very like negative view of a game and a company, and that's kind of where I'm at with Capcom with Monster Hunter. Because if you had 9-star in the plan, 9-star quests in the plan from the get-go, that you were going to do before G rank came out, why were they not in the game at launch? Clearly, and this is the part that pisses me off even more. They pulled it forward, proving that they didn't need extra development time to get it ready. So maybe it wasn't quite ready for launch, but it probably could have come out much sooner than it is right now, and to me, it's like bullshit. And I think players have become way too conditioned to this stuff with these games, where like you mentioned Destiny as an example, right? Like I could never play Destiny once I kind of understood what it was, because it's just always these incremental power increases where the game is just constantly feeding you new things to grind over and over and over, and you have to like re-grind your build and fucking shit like that. It's just like it's just an endless fucking hamster wheel. And it's like um I don't I want there to be an endpoint, and I want that endpoint to just be there, you know? Give me alternatives to my build that I might want to go grind, but I don't want you to increase the cap and make me have to start all over, basically. Because the second you add a one level, you've created a new ceiling, you know? And it's like developers know that, and they're using it to make players play more, and I just don't I'm tired of it at this point as somebody who's been playing games my whole life. I don't want to do that much anymore. I think that's why I'm struggling to get myself to play games like Path of Exile 2, you know. As much as that game looks really sick, I'm like, I want more content to be out. I don't want to play this game where it has 2 acts and then I put all this time into it, and then like acts like 3, 4, and 5 come out, and I have to like keep going and keep grinding and finding new gear and blah blah blah. You know, it's like I think because that's like Grim Dawn's the way Grim Dawn handles their expansions, they actually treat their players like with respect. They've released 2 expansions, and we're getting a third, you know, soon. They've been working on this expansion for a while now, but they're still working on it. But the way they've handled their expansions, the first one increased the level cap by 15 levels. The second one did not increase the level cap. There was no power increase at all. Everything was horizontal. Like all the stuff they added was basically they added a new mastery for players to try, which gives you a lot to experiment with. And then they added a whole bunch of new items and stuff. And they were like filling in gaps for like build options and stuff like that. And this next expansion is doing the same thing. It's not increasing the level cap again. We're getting another new mastery, and you're going to get a whole shitload of items and shit and things that kind of like player power is not going up with this expansion. And it's like it is possible for you to develop your game that way. Clearly, like companies that do it, Crate is proving that that's possible. That's why I like Grim Dawn so much, because I can go back to it, and the character that I built from years ago that's like maxed out, for the most part, I can just jump into the new content and do it with them, dude. Like, I don't have to grind anything. I don't need to go fucking farm items or anything. Like, my character still fucking slaps, you know? It's like they didn't, like, they have a different problem where they just love rebalancing everything all the time. That's a different conversation, but at least at its core, that character that I built that's effective is still effective. Like, I don't have to redo anything, you know? It's like, and that's what I want nowadays, you know? And I think unfortunately most RPGs are developed the other way, where it's always incremental power increases constantly. You know, Diablo's doing this, and it's just like you're making your players having to regrind, and these developers don't have any other concept of how to make an RPG, you know, like where you can keep players addicted in a different way. It's not like that's such a cheap way to make people keep playing, you know. Grim Dawn's way of making you continue to play is the fact that there's literally infinite build combos. Like, you can make so many different characters in that game, so many that you couldn't possibly do them all, you know. That's where the time comes from in Grim Dawn, you know, and I love that game for that, you know. So I don't know. We kind of went on a rant there, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is for Monster Hunter. I kind of agree with you. I think if they really want to satisfy the player base, like, releasing the whole game when it's done is the answer. Or do away with the ranks, you know, like not completely, but do you really need low rank, high rank, and G rank? I don't think so. I think you really only need 2 of those, you know. I think it should be more tailored towards G rank. Like, G rank is actually difficult, right? But yeah, I don't know. So, anything else you want to say on that, Montrell?
No, that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up one more thing before we go. Random. I know this is gonna be super random. I was listening to a podcast. Somebody was talking about they were playing Zelda Ocarina of Time for the first time. They had never played it before, and which that's awesome, you know. And they didn't really know much about it, actually, which is really cool. So they were getting like a pretty authentic experience with the game. and they were explaining why they really loved it. Like they were kind of falling in love with the game, and they loved the progression of the game, the way that each dungeon introduced a new mechanic that you got with each item that you got, in the
Yeah.
game. And listening to them talk about it made me realize why I don't like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, no, it did because they were talking about, they literally said this, and that's where it like clicked in my brain. They're like, yeah, this isn't like an Ubisoft game where they give you all the abilities at the beginning of the game and then you just do the same thing for 150 hours, basically with those abilities. And I was like, oh my god, he's literally describing Breath of the Wild right now, like literally describing Breath of the Wild right now. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. There's the answer. This is why I don't like it, because yeah, they give you all the abilities at the beginning, and then they expect you to just run around for 100 hours and use those abilities to do puzzles and shit. And like, how many ways can you make interesting puzzles with 4 abilities? Not enough to be engaging for 150 hours. And then their reward mechanism is, here's a Korok seed. It's like,
Well,
I think
Tears of the
that
Kingdom takes it a little bit further.
I know it does, but I think
Because they put all the earnest on the player to build. It becomes Fortnite.
Right, and I don't want that either, bro. Like,
or Minecraft, not Fortnite, but Minecraft.
Yeah,
it becomes,
sure,
like,
same thing. Yeah, whatever. I don't want that though.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
I don't want to build my solution. I want the game. I don't know. There was just a progression to old Zelda that's so fucking satisfying.
I think. I mean, we're gonna. It's gonna sound old, or it's gonna sound crazy, but I think that's just a sign of the times. As far as like, we're old gamers, like a lot of players, they just like to be really creative and think of creative solutions on their own for the set of problems inside the game. Whereas with us, we like for the game to kind of give us a challenge and then give a solution to that challenge. And then now that you have the solution, how can you use the solution to solve other problems that we put out throughout the game?
Right.
Like, I'm pretty sure, like, for instance, when he got the boomerang, he's like, oh, now I can reach that heart container over there.
Yeah, he was talking about that. He was like, well, when he got the hook shot, when you're an adult, he was like, oh yeah, this is awesome now. Like, I can fucking travel around and shit to places I couldn't get to before. It's like,
I think that's a wonderful thing. And I do miss that about Zelda. It unfortunately it did become formulaic, so I won't sit here and act like we,
it didn't wear out. It wore out its welcome.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. But for a first time player, like, yeah, I agree. I think my first Zelda game was Ocarina of Time, and I went back and played A Link to the Past. Yeah, so my first Zelda game was Ocarina of Time, and when I played it, it was also funny too, because like, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, so I had to sneak and play that game because obviously the magic and all that stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So one of my friends at the congregation, he gave it to me. He's like, "Hey man, you gotta play this game, dog. This game's so fucking fun, dog." So I played it.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro, I was just enamored by it, especially when I got to like, I don't know, like the first 3 dungeons you do, I was like, okay, this is cool. But then when I got to like, the time skip happens, and then you get to Sarah's dungeon, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? And like, that atmosphere, I don't know why the Lost Woods and I can't remember the name of that dungeon. Fuck, man.
Deku Tree?
Not the Deku Tree.
Sarah's, or the Forest Temple.
The Forest Temple. There you go. The Forest Temple. I don't know why that sticks out to me as one of my favorite dungeons. It doesn't do anything particularly like super well, but it's like the music, the atmosphere.
It's a very atmospheric dungeon. Yeah. So I remember the music. They're like doo 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 doo. Yeah. It's very well. Also, no, I love that dungeon too, because you have no items in it.
Yeah,
because it's the first one you're doing as an adult. You haven't done any dungeons yet, so all you have are like Deku sticks and like Deku nuts.
Yeah,
and I think you don't even have the bow. You get it in the dungeon.
Yeah,
and you have the hook shot as well. Like, those are your tools, and you have to figure out how to like do the dungeon. And it's like, it's not that easy, because some of the solutions are like not obvious, you know, like it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it feels like they're really like pushing you as a player, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
It's a really atmospheric dungeon, like you said. The challenge, the puzzles there as an adult. I mean, and then you come back to this place as an adult. Not only that, I think that's what Ocarina of Time really like if you're a first time player, it's waking up as a fucking adult. Like
Yeah.
seeing Link grown when I played that game, I
Yeah.
was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like this is cool as fuck. And then you leave out and like the Temple of Time is in like disarray. Hyrule's fucking destroyed and
Everybody's
every
zombies. Yeah.
everybody's zombies and shit like that. And
Yeah.
like the world
Yeah.
is like really dark. You came from like this really cool place. And then you go back in time, and then like when you get the ability to go back in time, everything's back to where it's supposed to be. And it's just
Yeah.
like it's just the juxtaposition of those two worlds. But like I don't know, even like the dialogue between you and Sarah is just like she's just like, yeah, man, you kind of left me, bro. Like you just don't understand what happened. Like, and you really don't get any context of what happened during those 7 years you were gone and everything like that. And
Yeah.
you explore this whole new aspect of the Lost Forest or the Lost Woods or whatever. You explore more lore in the Kokiri and just that forest, that forest temple in general had a lot of like little hidden lore that still hasn't been solved to this day. And it's just like I don't know, that was like one of my favorite dungeons when I go back and play it. Like you said, the music, the atmosphere, the pose that you fight, like even like the boss that you fight in that dungeon is a duplicate of the end game boss. And it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
the paintings that he was running now was like really, I don't know, man. I remember every aspect of that shit. And I just
It's so
thought that
good.
shit was like that was just such a really cool game. A really cool dungeon to fight in. That and the other dungeon I got that from was the spirit dungeon, the spirit temple dungeon. I thought that dark aspect of Hyrule where the royal family, like all throughout the game, you just hear how glamorous and how good the royal family was to their family, to their patrons and their servants and their citizens. And then you get down to this dark aspect of like they have a secret like fucking CIA ninja network that fucking tortures people and shit like that to get information in coil rebellions and stuff like that if everything got too crazy. And it's just like the lore in the spirit temple and even like that underground uh well and stuff like that was just crazy to me. Like I honestly that we really haven't gotten again since that. I don't think Zelda ever went that dark again, to be honest with you. I'm trying to really think.
Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Majora's Mask had some. I'd say after that, you're right, though, for
Yeah.
sure. Wind Waker was very like, we're adventuring on the high seas, woo,
Yeah.
you know, kind of game.
Yeah.
And there was like a moment in there, I think, where there was some dark stuff, but it was very brief.
Yeah. And I
And then
don't want
Twilight
everything
Princess
to be.
was just edgy. Just
Yeah,
trying to
it
be
tried.
edgy.
It tried too hard
Yeah.
to be edgy. But
Skyward Sword just, I don't even know what Skyward Sword was trying to do.
yeah, I mean it. But they set it up with that world and that dungeon. Both of those dungeons to me were like very. I just remember I was legitimately being scared to go into like the fucking underground well and shit like that. I remember that shit because that shit like
I mean, it was fucking grimy, dude. Like,
yeah, man. You had like torture stakes everywhere. You had the fucking dead hand,
zombies,
dude. Like,
fucking the hand that would come out of the ceiling and grab you and shit. Yep.
Yeah, like it was both of those temples were like really really cool and um very memorable in different ways for me. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're just old, man. I think Nintendo with Zelda is just, they don't care. They've left us behind. We're not important to their design philosophy anymore. You know, it's like because I don't know. Like, dude, I think the reason I haven't touched Tears of the Kingdom is because of that building mechanic. Actually, like
It is very intimidating.
It's not only that it's intimidating. I don't enjoy doing that concept in games. Like I really don't. I don't want to build shit. Like for the most part, I very rarely want to play a game like that where I am given the freedom to build my own structures, and it's like really cool what people put up, and like yeah, it's very Twitter shareable and fucking TikTok shareable and all this stuff, and maybe that was part of the intent with Nintendo is they were trying to take advantage of that culture, but to me it's like I don't really care about that. I just want the game to give me interesting puzzles, and I want there to be I want there to be some kind of progression to the game where it's like I feel like I'm getting more access to more tools, right? And I just, Breath of the Wild doesn't have that at all, really, like even when you get the Master Sword, it's lame. Like it breaks, it's like, and then you have to wait for it to recharge. It's like so stupid, man. Like this is the fucking Master Sword, I think the game, I don't know. I don't want the game to give me all the tools up front either. I'm not into that concept, I guess. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I still have Tears of the Kingdom sitting over there. Like I bought it when it came out, dude. Like I don't think I've ever opened the game. It's like, but I'm not like super enthralled. I think the other issue is that they reused the same map and layered things on top of it, in the game. So I'm kind of also like I halfway played through Breath of the Wild, so I'm like, am I just going to recognize these areas and be like, oh, well, I've been here before. Oh, well, there's a Korok seed that wasn't here before. And I think that's the other issue is the reward structure of the game is super lame because they give you everything up front. So the only rewards they can give you are like weapons, rupees, or Korok seeds to like expand your fucking inventory. It's like, okay, like they're not engaging rewards. They're not things I'm excited about, like I'm not when you like do a quest in like an RPG for instance, right? Um and it has like a really interesting quest line, and then at the end of it you get some like awesome like really interesting unique item that you can equip and stuff and like changes the way your character plays or something like that. It's like Zelda doesn't do any of that. Like when you get a reward in the game, it's usually one of a few things that are not very interesting on their own, and I find that that's why I'm so puzzled that the game became such a phenomenon, the way it did, because I don't think the game design of them is like really that great, on its face, but I don't know.
I think like you said, like they hit it off right at a time where it's cool to clip stuff and be creative
yeah,
with
right.
your games and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
obviously Breath of the Wild like did that, and then Tears of the Kingdom expanded upon that with the creative aspect of it. And like, ooh, look at my cool build. Look at my fucking X-wing I built.
I made a fucking transformer in Zelda, and it's like, okay, I mean, cool, bro. I don't know.
I that's why I think like we're not, and I don't want to diminish gamers and call them TikTok gamers, because even older people like this game. Even people our age love this game, right? I mean,
sure, yeah, we're a minority, dude,
yeah,
for sure with this, yeah.
And but there used to be something cool about just having an actual. The problem is, and I know it's not lazy, but it feels lazy, and I have no. Maybe I need to do more research on why it's not lazy, but it feels lazy. It just feels like the design tenets are lazy, if that makes any sense. Like
I think the rewards are absolutely lazy, for sure.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the rewards aren't fulfilling enough.
Yeah.
And because I had that problem with not a Link to the Past, but a Link Between Worlds, where you can just rent the stuff that you want to do for the dungeon.
I don't like that game either. Yeah, I know. I don't like that game for the same reason. Yeah, because you have the ability to just go get all the tools at the beginning of the game, and then you can just go do anything. There's no restrictions. There's nothing blocking you. There's no, and that feels like a very young minded like design tenant, I feel like, where they don't want to block your access to anything, you know. That feels like a very like instant gratification type thing that they're catering to, you know, where people are used to just getting what they want whenever they want it, so they want that in their games too. Whereas I do not. I want to feel like I've earned something, you know.
Well, maybe that's why too, right? And I felt this same feeling. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. That's why I love Death Stranding because I had no idea I can unlock all the stuff going into this game on how to
Right.
do stuff better, how to get
I didn't
faster.
either. Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and that's why I didn't want to spoil it for you. That's why I didn't tell you anything that you were getting. And I was like,
Which
you
I
just got,
appreciate.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it, he really didn't reinvent the wheel. He just, I mean, he really did. He did he really didn't reinvent the wheel. He reintroduced us to the wheel, and the wheel
Yeah.
was, remember, guys, remember how unlocking shit was fun? Like you
Yeah.
didn't pay for it, you just unlocked it by playing the
Yeah.
fucking game.
Yeah, you earned it by doing things in the game, you
Yeah,
know, and it's like, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like Death Stranding's way of doling out rewards is fucking genius. Like it just works so fucking well. And it's very meat and potatoes, you know. It's not like anything flashy, but dude, when you get like I don't even want to spoil it for people either, but you know, when you get certain tools that like I don't know, enhance your mobility or enhance your ability to hold stuff, you know, or whatever. And it's like these aren't like you read the description and the game describes what they do to you and you're like, "Oh, that doesn't sound that impactful." But this is a game where like even the things that I feel like aren't very useful based on the description, I'm trying them anyways because oftentimes when you practically in the game when you use these things they are really impactful. You just don't know it. Like there was a for instance there was a skeleton I got that is the all-terrain one and I was like, oh, what's the point of this, you know? And then I put it on and I'm like running through snow and shit. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. You know, like it's like, you know, it makes these areas like way easier to traverse. And it's like, you know, I think they're I don't know. Yeah, Kojima, you're right. He really is just like reintroducing us to something that you know, was a thing back in the day. Or I mean, it still is to a degree now. Plenty of games still do that, but I think but this is the disappointing part, I think, when you bring up a game like Death Stranding is that it's not that popular, you know? It really hasn't sold that many copies. Like I think the first game sold like 5 million maybe.
yeah.
And this game is the second one is maybe at 2 million after a couple months, which is you know, it's like disappointing, you know, that it's like that people aren't like globbing onto this game more because I think it deserves way as much praise as it's gotten. I just think it deserves a bigger audience, you know. I really wish more people would play it because it would just I feel like it would open people's eyes, you know, to
Well, I think that's the
um
problem, like you said
yeah.
earlier. The instant gratification. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, even some of the games we play, right? The which you know what, which is probably why some people can't play League or Dota.
Yeah.
There isn't an instant gratification there. There is.
No.
I need to learn how to play this fucking
You
game.
have to earn your power. Well, even in a game of League or Dota, you have to earn your power, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's not handed to you on a silver platter. That's why people hate that's why you hate what's happened with Jungle, right? Because you feel like it's just been handed to you people on a silver platter.
yeah,
They've made Jungle the instant gratification role, you know, because you literally can sleep and just click on things and you will gain levels and get gold. Like you don't even have to pay attention to what you're doing. When you're like killing camps. Like you could literally go watch other parts of the map, you know, while you're clearing. And I mean, which is probably what you're supposed to be doing, but it's like
yeah. You are supposed to
it
be doing
should be
that.
harder. It should be harder to clear though than that. You shouldn't be
Well,
able to just AFK
they
clear.
made the engagement between jungler and jungler more non-important. It used to be way more active role between the jungler and
Yeah.
between both junglers, and they kind of like got rid of that aspect. I don't even care about them, you know, including jungle camp timers and all this stuff like that. I think that's easy.
That
Just
shit's
stuff
already
for
been done in overlays. It's
yeah,
fine. People have been
yeah.
using it.
I
Whatever.
think people uh you know, I think that's good for people who are trying to learn how to play jungle. Um, but just removing the interactions between the junglers, uh, in my opinion, and like, ooh, either focus on ganking or just focus on farming. Like, what about interacting with my other jungler, like, or whatever the case may
Right.
be? And when you, I mean, in higher elos, that is a thing, but you don't experience that like in lower elos, in my opinion, because it's so brain dead. And I think that's why I left the role, because it's just I need such a more fulfilling role over
Engagement. Yeah.
engagement and whatever. But it's also like just like with League in general, like it's not and Dota as well, which I get that feeling from Dota. Like it took me 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes to get really powerful in Dota. But I mean, we were playing against bots, but you know, it felt, but then once I got my power thing, it felt really good getting into team fights and all this other stuff like
Yeah.
that and pushing everything. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's slower than League, but it just, that build up, that anticipation feels really fucking good. To me, at least.
I think
But
it felt. I think that's a reason I like it. Is it feels more earned. It's
yeah,
harder to get powerful in Dota. You know,
yeah.
like you really have to farm. It's not a fucking joke. Like
Well,
you know.
that you gotta think too. That's why RTSs kind of fell out of style, right? Because you have
Yeah.
to earn that power. You gotta
Oh my god, it's
literally
all on
build.
you, bro.
Yeah,
There's
you have to literally
no.
build up your army, build up your power,
Yep.
mitigate that power and everything.
And there's no break in those games either. Like
Yeah,
you don't get sent back to the fountain, or you don't die and have a respawn timer. Like in an RTS, it is constant. You have no opportunity to sit there and rest for a second. Like
yeah,
I think that's why those games are so intimidating, because it's like that. And I think they're really fun though because of that at the same time, you know.
yeah,
And it's a true, it like a 1v1 in an RTS is a true game of skill, you know, where you're literally like, if you lose, your opponent outplayed you. There's no other way to really look at it. You know,
yeah.
it's like you can't blame anything. It's like you didn't play well enough to win. Period. The end, you know?
Which is
Um
which is why I think also like fighting games have this like this ebb and flow to them, right?
yeah.
Because you have to earn that time, you, even though each match is like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you have to earn that time that you put into learning Ryu's combos and his fucking all this shit, right? All the impact frames and you know the negative and positive frames and all the other stuff like that. You have to learn all that stuff and you have to memorize it. And you have to memorize other characters and what they do. So it's not like a thing that's earned, which is why like fighting games are still trying, in my opinion, they're still struggling to get newer player bases to play them compared to like the Call of Duties and stuff like that. And I use Call of Duty because I know it has a high skill ceiling, but it also has a really low skill ceiling as well. That's like
Yeah.
there. And I use Fortnite, even though I like Fortnite, it has that same thing. It's an instant gratification thing. You just jump right back into it, which I think is why Apex was designed to be like that. But Apex is like designed, the gameplay was so good that it became very hard to get into, and which is
Yeah.
why a lot of people don't like Apex, because you can't, your time to kill in that game is actually a lot higher than like Call of Duty or Fortnite.
Yeah.
Um, um, and there's a lot of outplaying and outmaneuvering. Yeah, there are hackers and stuff like that, but there are plenty of times where we just outplay people and stuff like that because we know how to maneuver around the map, use our abilities correctly, and everything of that nature. You have alts and all the other shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is weird because like I feel like Marvel Rivals and Overwatch are those same type of games, but they're a lot quicker because you don't have to learn, you don't have to worry about item management and gold or anything. It's just your four abilities, your three or four abilities, and your alt.
Yeah.
And Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, you know, you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about gold management, wave management, or nothing of that, none of that shit. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I forgot to ask you actually. You saw the patch video, or the video on like things they're working on. Did you see the WASD movement stuff? Like, what do you think about that?
I think that's good for people like DJ. DJ always wanted that.
Are you
Um,
gonna switch?
no, I'm not switching. I'm a mouse and keyboard.
Okay,
So.
I'm thinking about it, bro.
You thinking about it?
Um, no, because depending on how it works, I think for ADCs it actually could be like
Very advantage.
revelatory.
Yeah,
Yeah, kiting will become much more manageable at a lower skill level, you know, which I think a lot of League players are viewing that as a negative, but I don't think so per se. I don't know. So I'm gonna give it a shot when it comes out for sure. I'm very interested in it. But I don't think it's gonna work for all roles. Like I actually don't think like bruisers and stuff really would get much benefit out of it necessarily. Because your like movement is not that, doesn't need to be like all that precise necessarily compared to an ADC. So yeah, we'll see on that. But all right, Montrell, is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out today?
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's get out of here then. So guys, if you like this show, please like the show, review the show, subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the bell so you get notified. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so at theplayerstick01@gmail.com. I think I'm getting rid of the Twitter. Not like getting rid of it, but like for questions, kind of want them funneled into the email. It's just easier for us to see in general. I'm not on the Twitter all the time, so there have been times where I have missed questions that people have sent in that way. So I'd say let's keep it to the email. I think I prefer that format anyways, in general. So yeah, if you want to send us a question, yeah.
And I'm barely on Twitter. I may come over and tweet once or twice, and then I'm off of it. It's just too much of a, I don't want to say a cesspool, but it's too much. It's too optimized for engagement, if that makes any sense.
Yes, and
I don't like that.
It's funny that you use that word because that's the exact word that dude used in his email
Okay.
about Twitter, because he stopped using Twitter too. He said so. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement. But yeah, I think if you want to send us questions, just use the email. So, all right. Well, that'll be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.